Welcome to a world where dreams actually come true, starting with our main man waking up. Jang wakes up inside a random hotel room in the dead of night, right after what seems to have been a highly athletic session. Right on cue, his partner pings his phone. It is a text from Xiao Ya, the ex who brutally dumped him. Right before freshman year, Jang is totally baffled. Why did she suddenly unblock him, and why is she acting like they are still a happy couple? What is her deal? Keeping his cool, he takes a look at the calendar and realizes that he literally traveled back in time. Zero headache, zero panic, he just calmly analyzes everything. Enjoying that post-workout mental clarity, he still clearly remembers the exact moment. This toxic girl threw him away for some wealthy guy. If he had locked in, he would have spotted her true colors instantly, but back then there were two big reasons blinding him from the truth. He truly wanted to be with her forever. But now he realizes she was only chasing his money, since he knows better now. And knows a shared ride is bound to break down, he instantly drafts a breakup text to end things, giving her another shot to betray him is out of the question. Suddenly, a blue holographic system window flickers to life right in front of him. His decisive choice has successfully activated the legendary Dreams Come True system. His past life was completely boring, but this time he is going to make sure he lives life to the absolute fullest. Meet Jang Chang, 18 years old. Standing at 5'11", the crazy part is that Jang now receives zero point 0.1 yuan every second. That is over 259,000 a month. Next, he cracks open a starter gift pack and gets hit with 10 million in cash, an SU7 Ultra sports car, a credit card. With a 1 million limit plus a handy scanner, the funds land instantly. He turns the scanner on the sleeping beauty next to him. This is Yu Zio Zio. She has 60 friendliness towards Jang and a body count of 0. That system scan basically confirms that Jang was the first to ever test the waters. He thinks back to last night. After being stood up by Zio Ya, he went to a bar looking for comfort. He wanted a drink but found a stunning woman who was incredibly upset and heavily intoxicated. It was not some fairytale romance, just two lonely souls helping each other out. Right on cue, the gorgeous girl opens her eyes. Since they are both fully rested, they decide to start round 2 of their workout. Jang is a deeply curious guy who simply cannot resist an open door. In response to his bold moves, the Dreams Come True system hands over another high-speed vehicle alongside an incredibly unique skill called Agile Tongue. They say practice makes perfect, so he puts this brand new ability to use on Zio Zio, quickly sliding right into the second round of this fresh dungeon. When Jang finally blinks his eyes open the next morning, Zio Zio is gone, but she left him 10,000 yuan on the table. He feels slightly used, but 10,000 is still 10,000. He regrets not grabbing her contact info, but quickly pivots to his new critical multiplier card. It can multiply any spent cash by 10 or 20 times, the maximum payback is 50 times. Jang knows he has a natural talent for numbers. Using those mental math skills, he realizes he can exploit credit card spending. It would help him accumulate more cash first, which he can use to buy a super expensive car later to trigger an even bigger cashback. If this sounds confusing, then you are looking for logic in the wrong kind of story. His actual strategy is to hoard enough wealth to invest in companies he knows are about to become absurdly rich. No more working, just watching his bank account grow, and just you wait, the era of Jang is coming. First, he plans to leverage the property buying rules in Chengdu, which have zero limits as long as his funds do not come from the banks of Big Yahoo. But then another gold digger steps into view. It is obvious what kind of ride she wants, but seriously, get off the car, lady. What if she leaves a dent? She quickly mentions that there is a clogged pipe at her place and wonders if Jang could provide her with some serious plumbing help. But Jang can see 28 pipes have already been used, yet the drainage problem remains unresolved. He rejects her flat out. 28 people in one room is too crowded for him to squeeze into. She is incredibly annoyed, but at least Jang drops her off at the absolute best spot for her, right on the streets. Just then an older man approaches, offering 30 years of pipe-fixing expertise. The lady cringes and tells him to back off immediately. He is utterly confused, since he is a licensed professional, but another kind bystander approaches him and explains the situation. He tells the poor guy that she is looking for a Brand new type of pipe, definitely not one from someone with less hair than her total body count. Soon, Jang arrives at the biggest real estate office in the city where the agents immediately greet him. Xiao Dao is a beautiful, newly hired agent while Uncle Blazer is a veteran showcasing his questionable, flowery fashion choices. Seeing that their visitor is just a young kid and not some loaded sugar daddy, he leaves Xiao Dao to handle Jang like a diligent rookie. She walks Jang inside and starts presenting some starter homes. Uncle Blazer, on the other hand, just lights up a cigarette, betting his entire career that this kid is only window shopping. Xiao Dao starts with the cheapest listings, but Jang tells her to skip them and show him properties worth around $1 million. Xiao Dao panics a bit, asking about his preferred locations. Jang simply wants easy-to-rent houses, which quickly narrows down the choices. He is glad about Xiao Dao's inexperience, knowing she won't try to take advantage of him like other pushy agents, but as he glances over her rookie nature is clearly not just limited to her sales pitch. Still, she is incredibly hardworking for her age. Jang respects her hustle, realizing she is the perfect business partner for his future investment plans. Xiao Dao then brings out her best deals, ranging from 300,000 to a million. Since Jang cannot exceed that card limit, he focuses on listings closest to 1 million. Buying an 800,000 property instead of a full million means even with a 10 times cashback, he would miss out on $2 million in profit. Because of this, he targets listings slightly over 1 million, offering to purchase 5 of them if they can round down to exactly 1 million per unit. Best of all, he will pay in full right now, keeping Xiao Dao on to manage the rentals afterward. Xiao Dao is absolutely thrilled, while Uncle Blazer stands frozen, completely unable to process his blunder. He feels deeply humiliated, having never faced such brutal consequences of his actions since his last disastrous vacation. Just then, the manager in a white suit rushes over. She informs Jang about their 2% commission, and he happily signs without reading anything, purely to show his complete trust. She alone stands to make 50,000 from this single deal. The system window pops up, revealing a massive 50 times multiplier on 3 of those properties. Spending just 5 million scored him 225 back, plus he now gets 8 yuan every single second. Honestly, the author isn't even hiding his lazy fantasies anymore. He thinks Shai is his lucky charm, so he asks her to listen to him for a moment. Meanwhile, the manager advises her to make Jang their regular customer by offering a special property that wasn't shown in those pictures. The 19-year-old house that nobody has entered yet. It's not like Shai is against the idea, but it's too soon. They should get to know each other better first, but turns out Jang wasn't thinking about that. He's someone who just got rich. He doesn't know how wealthy people operate, and he's not even ready to work on those big files yet. Instead, he asks for Shai's bank account and transfers her 350,000 as a massive thank you. He knows keeping a close relationship with her is highly beneficial for the future, both financially and physically. Her friendliness immediately jumps to 85. Talk about the absolute power of cold, hard cash. She immediately offers to buy him dinner as a thank you for his generosity. Suddenly, she's not against the idea of moving too fast at all. In fact, she'd happily be dessert if he asked, now that he's finished here. He drives away to hunt down more properties. Moving on. Soon, Jang is back home to visit the literal creators of our main character. Thankfully, he's not trying to use that friendliness scanner on his own mom and dad. His father asks about the graduation trip they talked about last time. A graduation trip. The author should just drop another 20 billion into Jang's account for some peace of mind. Jang reveals he's heading to Madu. Since he plans to enroll at Madu University, his dad happily agrees and tells him that he'll transfer some trip money. Of course, Jang doesn't refuse because no sane parent would believe their kid was suddenly showered with money by some cheap tricks. Then his mom immediately brings up the topic of marriage, while Jang just wants his watermelon in peace. Simple as that. Steals it away. He's not that naive kid anymore, so he promises he'll find them a decent daughter-in-law. Booking his flight ticket at the absolute last minute means Jang has to settle for economy class, where he immediately runs into another gorgeous baddie. She's sitting in the middle seat while Jang has the window spot. Unfortunately, the third seat is taken by someone who looks like A creepy Discord moderator with a room full of real-life anime girl pillows. This guy's face could instantly skyrocket the sales of condoms. Jang gives up his seat for the girl and sits in the middle. This guy who looks like a flat earther immediately protests, but Jang claims they are traveling together. The girl is heading there for work while Jang reveals he's just on vacation. This greasy guy jumps into the conversation again and reveals his name. Chi and Shen. He offers some friendly advice about not trusting local hotels, claiming he doesn't have to worry because his wealthy dad booked him a luxury hotel that sends a private car and driver to pick him up. He then proudly offers to book her a room at his place, but she completely ignores him like white noise. Jang casually reveals the name of the incredibly luxurious hotel he booked, the famous Yangyun. Hearing this, our lemon-faced rival Mr. Popaloon is completely astonished. He is utterly speechless. Why? Because he knows exactly how ridiculously expensive that place is. Trying to desperately save face, he quickly claims that he actually stayed there too. Yet he does not recall the $9,000 room having an airport pickup. Jang just smiles. He would not know since he booked the $80,000 villa. That massive flex instantly gets Xiao Ying's full attention. Let's look into her secret backstory. Her name is Xiao Ying, and she actually went to the same school as Jang. Back then, she was famous because she always got dropped off in a Bentley. Normal students did not dare to get close to her because of that rich girl aura. But she was never mean, just a quiet girl who preferred to keep to herself. She was the type you would fall for but instantly reject yourself on her behalf. Back in those days, Jang did not pay any attention to her either. He was far too busy chasing after Xiao Jai like a loyal pet dog. Men do crazy things, but then her entire family fell into financial ruin. By her second year, she was walking to school, completely losing her wealthy status. Jang feels a bit guilty for bringing this up, so he quickly changes the subject. Old gossip does the trick. She finally starts to smile again. Her friendliness level suddenly shoots up to 75, way higher than he anticipated. It turns out she has secretly carried a massive crush on Jang since high school. Soon they arrive in Madu, where Jang is greeted by his private butler, Wang Yuyan. He is highly impressed by the absolute professionalism of his new butler, Wang Yuyan. Jang offers to drive Xiao Ying to her destination, but there is a slight catch. She is staying with a friend in Puong, which happens to be in the complete opposite direction. She insists she can just take a taxi, but Mr. Popaloon suddenly chimes in. He suspects Jang is trying to make a move on her, so he interferes. He wants to play the ultimate hero and steal her away for his own selfish gains. Seriously, calm down. The only thing you are taking to bed tonight is your pride. Jang drops Xiao Ying off safely, but not before they happily exchange phone numbers. She promises to treat him to dinner soon as a thank you for his kindness. Jang cheerfully agrees and drives away, while Mr. Popaloon watches them go, feeling completely defeated. It is over. He has lost this round completely, standing there in utter despair. 30 minutes later, Jang and his elegant butler, Wang Yuyan, arrive at the spectacular hotel. Jang immediately realizes why this $80,000 suite is worth every single penny. Wang Yuyan prepares everything for him, but Jang is a bit distracted by her beauty. He is only human. Nobody can really blame him for feeling a bit tense. Once he finishes his relaxing bath, Wang Yuyan mentions an exclusive private auction happening tonight. It is held right inside the hotel, meaning there is no strict dress code. All he really needs to bring along is a massive pile of cash, of course. She guides him straight to the grand lobby where the bidding has already begun. The spotlight lands on an incredibly rare Rolex watch, one of only 10 models ever made. Bidding for this masterpiece starts at a staggering $15 million. Jang does not care about the style, but he knows its future value will soar. He easily secures the winning bid, dropping a cool $18 million without even blinking. The surrounding crowd is absolutely stunned by his casual and massive display of wealth. Bidding on watches with this much cash, little do they know our boy is about to outflex them all. Every single one of these rich snobs. Just then Shinfen approaches Jai. He is an incredibly wealthy guy who has everything except a lighter. Man, just light that cigarette or put it away. The world already has more than enough try-hard Sigma smokers running around. He was the rival bidding for the watch, but he sensed that Jai genuinely wanted it after bidding $18 million, so he stepped back. Aside, he asks if Jai is some big collector, but Jai reveals he is just trying something new. Talk about a massive flex. Right then, Wang Jiang compliments Jai's pants for holding back his massive balls. He wonders why. They had never seen him around, so Jai mentions his university plans. Shinfen is highly impressed and invites Jai to hang out sometime. Now our boy is on level 7, pulling in 1 yuan every single second. That is over 900 million year, but even that is not enough for his grand plans. Seriously, what is he actually planning? He could easily buy a World Cup final front row ticket with all this cash, or maybe not if some greedy ticket scalper jacks up prices. Again, right on cue, he bumps into Zio Zio. Jai thanks her for giving him the absolute best deal a guy could ever ask for. She originally assumed he was just some broke student, throwing him some cash to cover a missed shift at a local coffee shop. She definitely did not expect him to be this filthy rich. Jai hints that he wants some more compensation, asking if she will join him back at his luxury courtyard villa. Luckily, she had a blast too, so she is down, provided they can step up the late-night workout. She is planning to train to failure tonight, but their warm-up is suddenly ruined by Kang Yu. He is her trash ex who cheated with her best friend. Seriously, people make some incredibly dumb mistakes in life, but this guy takes it to a whole new level. There has never been a bigger idiot than this clown for cheating on a catch like Zio Zio. What more could a guy even ask for? It would be one thing if Kang Yu went after her best friend's husband instead. Honestly, the guy looks like he would get locked up on purpose just to drop soap in the showers. He actually tells her to forget the past and focus on their wedding. Zio Zio absolutely detests him. He is the sole reason she got drunk that night and refuses to suffer anymore. Now Jai is happily watching the drama unfold when the system offers him two options. He can walk away with a high-end designer outfit, or slap the living daylights out of Kang Yu twice for a major physical boost. He also gets a bad luck card. Honestly, this is barely even a choice. Even if there was no payoff, or if he got hit with a penalty, his mind had been made up the second Kang Yu showed up. That face is just so incredibly punchable. Letting a golden moment like this pass him by would be the biggest fumble of his life. Still, Jai double-checks one vital detail, asking if the physical upgrade applies down below as well. The system happily confirms his entire body, including his third leg, is getting buffed. With that guaranteed, Jai immediately steps up and absolutely wrecks the guy. Kang Yu's relationship level plummets from 70 down to 10, but who cares? Zio Zio, on the other hand, is absolutely thrilled to see him get wrecked. It is a classic dispute involving two guys. One is a wealthy customer while the other looks like chewed gum. Naturally, they are siding with the rich guy. Jang Yu threatens to call security, but Zio Jiao steps in, warning him she will testify against him. Jang Yu is incredibly wealthy and untouchable, meaning the law does not scare him, but while this brat is still crying for someone to protect his pride, a thief with a blade storms the lobby. The attacker slashes a bystander and grabs Jang Yu. Now Jang Yu finally gets a taste of real danger. Just then, another system screen flashes in front of Jiang. This time, Jiang has a choice: run away or stop the killer. If he chooses to fight, he will unlock a legendary milk-squeezing technique. Yes, the name means exactly what you think. Jiang has no desire to save Jang Yu, but missing out on a god-tier skill with Zio Zio right beside him is simply impossible. It would be like buying a PlayStation 5 and playing with a broken controller. Jiang activates his multiplier card to boost his stats and charges the attacker. One powerful punch ends it. Zio Zio is completely shocked by his raw strength. He is definitely not just some spoiled rich heir, he is a total beast. And she will get to know that beastly side much better after he claims his reward. A terrified Jang Yu realizes he has zero chance against a monster like this. Everyone in the lobby applauds Jiang. The police arrive quickly and take the criminal away. The officers warmly thank Jiang for stepping in to save the day. Meanwhile, Jang Yu tries to act tough again now that the danger is gone, but Zio Jiao immediately exposes him, telling everyone how he tried to scam her into marriage. Her affection score hits 90 now. Honestly, Jang Yu should just pack his bags right now and hope a speeding truck takes him out. It is time to start over in another world as a minor villain or some kind of goblin sidekick. Jiang gently pulls Xiao Jiao into his arms, promising to keep all these pests away. The local police decide not to get involved in their personal drama. Still, the loudmouth refuses to stop whining. Jiang simply uses his bad luck card on him. Moments later, Zhang Yu receives a frantic call warning him that his accounts are frozen. All of his savings have vanished. Just then, a hotel staff member runs in, shouting that a giant tree has crashed onto Zhang Yu's luxury ride. He finally flees. Some people bring joy wherever they go, and Zhang Yu brings it by leaving. With peace restored, Jiang is ready for his scheduled private workout with the lovely ladies. They share some playful banter as they quickly strip down to business. Xiao Jiao feels incredibly relieved that her forced marriage to that jerk is finally off. Her dying grandfather had forced the arrangement, but now she is finally free. Even better, they discover that Zhang Yu was actually secretly dating a guy. This leaves the path wide open. Jiang keeps his eyes locked on his main goals. And comforts her, she softly asks if they are officially together now. While things had been mostly physical before, she is now falling for him. Jiang gladly seizes the golden opportunity and holds her close. The next morning, the messy room speaks volumes about their wild night. Both Xiao and Xiao Jiao clearly put everything they had into the intense workout. The chaotic state of the sheets proves how fierce the struggle was. It is a miracle they can even walk after enduring such a legendary session. Jang and Xiao are sitting in a restaurant, replenishing their energy. Suddenly, Xiao spots a post of her friend flexing a brand new birthday gift. Jang decides it's time to show off his own birthday gift, so he asks her for a few photos. Sure, he might not own a flashy Benz or a BMW, but his ride is way faster. It's also super comfortable. Jang uploads them, making the rich guys panic. They practically run to the fire station to put out the flames lit under their pride. Let this be a solid lesson that the universe always favors guys with plot armor. Later on, Jang arrives at a high-end showroom to buy a little car for himself. A polite sales girl walks him through all the available high-end options. Nearby, two other customers are in the middle of a pretty tense conversation. Suin is trying to convince a bald, chubby guy to stop asking for her advice. But Unj is just trying to show off and get into her good graces first. He boasts that he'll be the one driving her around once their show starts filming. Because of that, he thinks she should have a say in which car they use. Suin dryly replies that he should focus on making her the lead actress instead. Unj is totally willing to make her dreams come true, provided she satisfies his wishes first. Watching them, Jang instantly recognizes her. This girl is Suin, a rising star. She's destined to become a massive name in the entertainment industry very soon. She first blew up after a pool photo shoot, and she's not easily intimidated. The longer Suin stalls, the angrier this baldy gets, dropping his polite act. He reveals an incredibly ugly personality beneath his mask, making a clear threat. If Suin doesn't keep him company tonight, the deal is off and his investment is gone. But Suin knows her own talent, so she flatly rejects his sleazy offer. She rejects the guy who looks one step away from the grave. Now the stage is set for Jang to make an absolute grand entrance. A special mission pops up, asking him to help Suin and sign her to his agency. The system promises him massive rewards, alongside winning her affection. It seems his system is actually helping other people out, not just himself. To succeed, Jang needs to prove he has enough wealth to back up his offers. Raising his voice so everyone can hear, he casually asks the sales girl for a LaFerrari. But buying a masterpiece like a Ferrari isn't just about having money. He actually needs to already own 5 of their models to even be eligible. Fortunately, the smart sales girl thinks of a clever workaround to help him out. A massive, over-the-top down payment will allow them to bypass the strict ownership policy. Paying extra is no issue for Jang, who's ready to pay the full price right now. The entire showroom falls completely silent. Unj is absolutely furious at this young kid. This random boy with a full head of hair just ruined his perfect trap. Even Suin is impressed, seeing him casually order the most expensive car like nothing. Looking at his handsome face is such a massive upgrade from the fat pig. To Jang, 40 to 50 million is basically just pocket change anyway. The stunned sales girl immediately runs to get the manager and the store owner. As luck would have it, the owner Chinfin happens to be visiting today. After greeting each other, Jang casually mentions he hates waiting around for taxis. So he figured he would just buy a supercar to get around town easily. Chinfin can't help but sweat at this next level of humble bragging. A massive commission is coming their way. Why? Because they got lucky. They landed a customer who is wearing an 18 million yuan watch. Thanks to that, they do not need to verify Jiang's wealth. While he and the manager handle the paperwork, Suan finds it pretty strange. To see such a young, wealthy guy, normally rich folks spending this much, like to do bad things to people his age, he is incredibly loaded. Meanwhile, Xiao Huang realizes he cannot top that LaFerrari, so he decides to leave this place before his fragile ego takes any more serious damage. Suan refuses to go along for drinks, claiming she has a company meeting. Later on, Wang reminds her that she has not achieved anything yet. She needs to stop acting so noble and do exactly what he says. Visiting his room is her only choice, or she faces banishment. Once that fat baldy leaves, Jiang approaches Suan and apologizes for overhearing their conversation. He tells her not to worry since he will invest in her. Now she does not have to sleep with that pig. And honestly, who could blame her for immediately agreeing to this? After exchanging numbers, Jiang proposes a meetup tomorrow, since the Ferrari might take a year to deliver. Chunfin suggests a luxury car show. He can buy a car right on the spots. Later that day, Jiang arrives at the Grand Hotel to meet up with his goddess, Xiao Xiao. She shows him the best buffet dishes, but Jiang tells her that no other treat compares to her. Talk about a smooth playboy. She politely begs him for a bit of rest because their workout last night completely ruined her knees. Thankfully, Jiang lets their relationship move forward so she can call him hubby, daddy, or darling. Anything but brother. Jiang asks about Suan, which makes Xiao Xiao nervous. But he assures her he has not fallen for her. He simply asks about Suan's potential. Xiao Xiao reveals that if she finds a better company that actually backs her, she has what it takes to succeed. Xiao Xiao is happy to help. Jiang first clarifies that she is his number one woman and he will always treat her well. The difference between her previous fiancé and Jiang is their mutual trust. Jiang states his clear intention of investing in Suan, even though they must pay her massive contract breach fee. Xiao Xiao does not need to worry because Jiang will handle all the finances. He plans to put Xiao Xiao in charge of the entire agency. Giving her some company shares is also on the table. Jiang knows that Suan alone will become big enough to bring in a massive profit. Xiao Xiao is not interested in shares, she is just happy to run a company instead of being a mere department manager. Plus, those wild workout sessions are already a pretty great reward. Jiang is the kind of guy who knows how to spoil his women. So whatever the final deal turns out to be, it will favor her. She is deeply grateful for his rescue. Right then, Jiang receives a text from Suan asking for their meetup details. He gives a rich smile. Jen smiles, genuinely happy to see her eagerness. The next afternoon, he picks up Suan and they head over to Lu Jiazui. She booked a table for two at the fancy Bayou Hotel. Turns out her current drama is just a small-scale project. The budget is only 5 million, but she knows the story is pretty good enough to bring in way more than that. She offers to show him the script, but Jen refuses. He trusts Suan completely and will invest right away. He even slides over his phone if she wants the cash up front before they talking further, but Suan is completely stunned. Why is he agreeing to invest so easily when they only met yesterday? She has never seen an investor like him before. Jen finally drops his actual condition for this deal. He wants her to sign as an artist at his agency, covering her entire contract breach fees. Honestly, she should be way more suspicious of his motives, but hey, pretty privilege is real. She thinks about how she can land massive investments in the future by joining him. Plus, Jen is incredibly young and good-looking. Letting him play with her cat is definitely better than dealing with that disgusting triple-chin chimpanzee boss. Focus, she quickly shakes off those highly inappropriate thoughts. Though the company is not official yet, he will launch it immediately if she agrees. He knows her current agency completely ignores her talent, but at his company, they will focus entirely on her for the next 2 or 3 years. That is enough time to reach the big leagues. Her friendship meter is still stuck at 50. Even so, she asks if Jen has any other hidden conditions. She should prepare for. Honestly, Jen is not entirely innocent here. But Jen is patient. He knows his system hands him everything. On a silver platter, so why rush? Jen directly promises that he will never ask her for any inappropriate favors, even with himself for her career. Hearing this, Suwon's friendship meter jumps straight up to 60. She never expected a young guy to respect boundaries like this. She agrees to sign, calling him boss, but Jen tells her to keep it casual and be friends. She asks his age, and his answer only boosts her admiration. She insists on paying for their dinner as a small thank you. Since she cannot pay him back with her body, she wants to use her wallet. Now that the task is complete, all of Jen's funds flow through Hench investment company. It looks like he quietly bought shares of that firm earlier. Talk about perfect legal protection on top of his crazy plot armor. He decides to call his parents so they can slowly digest the insane news that their son is rich now. The company is generating $600,000 monthly. Naturally, his parents are thrilled. His dad silently wants his vacation money back, but knows that is not happening. He warns Jen to keep his feet on the ground. This is just the start. Jen then invites Suwon to tag along with her new boss to the mall to shop for his parents. They arrive at a luxury store where the cheapest items start at 200,000. Suwon is completely out of her depth. Just then, she spots a senior actress, her former coworker Lin Ru. Lin Ru is shopping with her wealthy sugar daddy. Since Suwon hasn't officially quit yet, she quickly introduces Jen as a close friend. Nobody expects Jenning to actually have the cash to buy anything. Linu's sugar daddy, though, is showing a strange interest in Jenning. Linu has a friendliness of 20 and a body count of 78 at 27. Imagine 78 controllers on one console, absolutely wild. Juan asks about Suwon, so the train wreck Linu calls her a lowly maid from her old drama. Wang still tries handing his number to Suwon, hoping to get some action. Linu is getting visibly irritated and jealous, her blood boiling to the point. Her jealousy bar is almost as high as her massive body count. They start checking out the luxury watches. The salesman presents a $380,000 ladies' watch. Jenning is not considered rich by his family yet, making him wonder if this is the right fit. Still, he asks to see watches over 500,000. Linu takes a massive emotional hit, having let Wang into her forbidden forest so many times. Just to get that $380,000 watch, Suwon is quietly enjoying this ridiculous display of the arrogant Linu. The system seems incredibly eager to put Suwon in Jenning's bed, popping up with a helpful prompt suggesting he buy her a premium watch. However, Suwon refuses the gift, determined to buy one with her own hard-earned money. Linu, the seasoned multiplayer veteran, still laughs, thinking these two are just window shopping. The shopkeeper brings out several beautiful options, and the one Jenning likes is slightly loose, so Suwon gently tightens it. Jenning notes that he prefers things as tight as possible. He definitely knows how to play this. His smooth moves work, pushing Suwon's friendship stat straight up to 70. Honestly, that is a massive green light. Light to make a few more sneaky plays. He casually purchases two of those identical watches worth over $1 million. Even Wang, Linu's wealthy sugar daddy, is stunned. Next up, he needs a watch for his mother, asking Suwon to help choose. She picks a gorgeous high-end piece costing 850,000. Jenning asks her to try it on so he can see how it sits on her wrist, then buys it along with another expensive watch, telling Suwon to just keep wearing it. She tries to decline the gift, but he has already paid. He points out his mom is already in her 40s, so this style might not suit her anyway. He convinces Suwon to keep it, and her friendliness level jumps to 75. The entire bill comes to just under 4.5 million, earning them a free bonus. Meanwhile, the walking season pass, Linu is losing her mind with absolute jealousy. Wang's original plan to buy her a watch and take her to a candlelit dinner to score later tonight is totally ruined. Frustrated, they leave the store empty-handed. Jenning, on the other hand, gets a massive triple purchase cashback bonus, raking in $13.1 million. After spending only $4.5 million, that is 4 watches and massive relationship points. For a clean $9 million in profits. Not being a greedy guy, he takes Suwon to another high-end shop and buys her a designer handbag. Now, she is completely defenseless if Jenning decides to make a move. She even offers him a drink as they arrive at her apartment building, but Jennings admits he does not drink, claiming wild women will just try to take advantage of his good looks and blame his sharp jawline for teasing them. It is honestly tough surviving as a man. In a world full of dangerous, predatory women, instead of staying, he just drops her off and walks away. Suin's friendliness value shoots straight up to 80. She half expected him to use those smooth words just to get into her bed tonight. But now she is absolutely certain he is a true gentleman. Meanwhile, Jen is already pretty happy knowing he is about to raise his stats even more. Their intimacy, and maybe a few legs later, he heads back to the courtyard villa, deciding to enjoy a quick swim before taking a proper bath. Manager Wang is low-key surprised by this. She knows exactly how devastatingly expensive this room actually is. So she never expected Jen to book it for a whole week. Nobody has ever been able to afford this luxury for so long, with the single exception of Satoru Gojo. Of course, Jen then starts asking about their high-end dinner options. Manager Wang explains that they serve exquisite Italian, Japanese, French, and Chinese dishes. Their absolute specialty is the yellow croaker from the Italian kitchen. Jen already knows that this specific fish costs millions, while Alba white truffles cost hundreds of dollars for a single gram. He plans to use his food rebate card here, so this is basically a sweet investment. He then requests a relaxing massage from manager Wang, expecting a standard spa session, but ends up getting a wild, oily Nuru massage instead. It was unexpected, but do not worry, you won't hear him complaining. The massage finishes up and manager Wang heads out, promising to pick him up tomorrow morning for the big auto show. The next day, Jen arrives at the venue, which is packed with exotic cars and gorgeous models. Chinfin couldn't tag along due to some urgent work. Poor guy has to put in real hours for a paycheck, unlike our main character who got billions handed to him for doing absolutely nothing. Jen has officially entered that wealthy social class where you can wear the weirdest outfits and call it fashion. Why is that tie so tiny anyway? What is even the point of wearing it like some glorified collar? The latest models are decent, but everything he has seen so far feels pretty bland. The most expensive option was only 2.2 million, which Jen barely even considers a real car. Just call it a modern-day donkey cart at that budget. Right then, he runs into a couple of his former classmates. They are gathered around a gorgeous car, but it turns out the sleek shape and headlights they are admiring do not belong to the ride, but to the lady standing in front. Ju Ying is working as a car model tonight. If you forgot, she is the one from the plane, the one wealthy classmate who recently went broke. Just as Jen gets a closer look at Ju Ying, he immediately understands why everyone is making such a massive fuss. They are completely mesmerized. It is like they finally found the ultimate treasure. Of course, there is going to be some guy waiting around just for our main character to show up and humble him. He asks Ju Ying when her shift ends, but this pink shirt girl suddenly cuts him off, claiming that Ju Ying is far too busy. She already turned down their invitation to this graduation trip, so do not bother her. Seeing how uncomfortable Ju Ying is getting, Jen steps in and greets everyone. They were all hanging out just before graduation, but he feels completely different now, partly because this is his second shot at life, and mostly because he could literally buy all of them right now. This guy wearing the blue shirt, who is absolutely desperate for Ju Ying's attention, is the one who planned this trip and intentionally excluded Jen. The girls start whispering, wondering if Jen got some plastic surgery done since he looks basically the same but carries a totally different vibe. Mr. Green Umbrella Head boasts that Jen still holds no candle to him, claiming he remains the most handsome mushroom around. Jen asks if they are planning to buy a ride, but Yui scoffingly reveals that they cannot afford these cars and only stopped by to gawk at Ju Ying. She is clearly looking down on her for working such a low-paying gig, but the blue shirt guy quickly defends Ju Ying. She claims it is her life and her choice. Pretty bold of Zui to degrade Zhao Ying, especially since her own body count is higher than the number of students in their entire class. Jeneng wonders why Zui's friendliness stat is sitting at 90 when they are barely even friends. Yet here she is, wanting him to be her one and only number 31. Meanwhile, Yui has 75 friendliness and a body count of only 2, which is honestly quite unexpected. Mushroom Guy tries to make small talk, but Jeneng is only focused on his own goals. He simply refuses to fail. He greets Zhao Ying and turns to the loser in the blue shirt, asking if he actually plans on buying that ride. Blue shirt guy suddenly acts like an expert and starts reciting the manual of this luxury ride. Jennings claps, mocking their class president for knowing so much about this Ferrari. Apparently the price tag is around 8 million. Jennings then starts teasing him for knowing so much when he has zero plans to buy the thing. Zhao Ying is getting pretty embarrassed, so she tells them to clear out, but now blue shirt guy refuses to lose face in front of Jennings, so he plays his ultimate card. He brings up the one flex he thinks can win over any girl in the entire world. The absolute cheat code to make any woman fall head over heels for him instantly. The ultimate weapon, his unbeatable nerd card. He brags about his massive exam score of 625 points on the college entrance exam and how his parents want to buy him a car as a reward. He claims he would gladly buy one if Xiao Ying personally showed him around, but she just tells this nerd to talk to the sales staff. Since he refuses to back down, Jennings warns him to work on his game first. Before trying to bag a goddess, he tries to embarrass Jennings by challenging him to buy the car himself if he is not just all talk. Surprisingly, Jennings agrees on one condition. He wants the gorgeous model included in the deal. Zhao Ying laughs, which completely triggers their annoying class president. Just then, the manager walks over and starts scolding Zhao Ying for slacking off on the job and gossiping with random guys. Jennings teases the class president for ruining the mood. He then steps forward, claiming the car is honestly pretty average, but with this gorgeous model standing beside it, the whole package looks incredibly classy. He tells the manager he is ready to buy the vehicle as long as the beautiful model is included in the deal. Normally, the manager would kick him out, but he spots a luxury watch on Jennings' wrist and instantly changes his tone, politely offering a special car film. Instead, Jennings pulls out his black card, announcing he will be paying in full. His friends are completely shocked. They never expected a plot twist almost as massive as the legendary armored and colossal Titan reveal. Judong tells him to stop messing around because he is causing major trouble for Zhao Ying, but Jennings clarifies that he is actually doing her a huge favor. The manager quickly confirms that the massive sales commission will go straight to Zhao Ying. Her friendship points instantly shoot up to 80, yet Jennings is still playfully bargaining for the girl. Judong tries to come up with a plan, but since it is completely boring, let us skip it. Now that the ride is ready, the manager wraps up the paperwork and heads off, asking Zhao Ying to take excellent care of their VIP customer. Meanwhile, the blue shirt guy is finally realizing that Jennings actually bought the luxury car. He was not just joking around after all. He never expected Jennings to be this filthy rich, especially since he would never lend more money. Shuja's friendliness rating has already jumped to 95%, suggesting she is completely hooked. Ready to yield right there, Yui reminds her that the Ferrari has only 2 seats. Jennings bought this ride specifically for Zhang, leaving no room for anyone else. Shuja wants Zhang to focus on her job and let her be Jennings' exclusive passenger princess. At this moment, Jennings is actually quite amused and highly impressed by this girl's sheer honesty. He never realized there were levels to this gold-digging game. Jennings still thinks the car looks a bit empty without Zhang posing right next to it. Shuja realizes that Jennings is completely out of reach, so she tries to ruin his moment with Zhang by bringing up his recent breakup with Joey. Zhang never even knew he was single, which actually makes everything much better. Jennings clarifies that his past relationship has absolutely nothing to do with this situation, adding that any man would be lucky to date a goddess like Zhang. Xuang suddenly spots the incredibly expensive watch on Jennings' wrist, so Jennings quickly covers it up, claiming the luxury ride and watch are just gifts from his wealthy parents. Xuang strongly suspects that Jennings is just faking his wealth, but he cannot prove a thing. Shuja invites Jennings out for dinner, secretly hoping to sneak away with him alone later that evening. However, he declines, claiming he has an urgent appointment tonight, promising to contact her some other time. The classmates finally depart, and Jennings tells the assistant he will browse a bit more on his own. Just then, a new saleswoman approaches Jennings, pitching a flashy red sports car. He ignores the car specs, already picturing himself getting close with Shuja in those seats. So yeah, wrap it up. This luxury ride costs 9.5 million. Jennings handily hands over his black card to finalize the transaction. He will not need it delivered immediately, explaining to the saleswoman that it is a gift. He will send the recipient's address later. Nearby, a beautiful streamer is filming the expensive sports car for her live broadcast. This girl actually knows quite a lot about sports cars and shares her insights. Sadly, the venue management detests live streamers and content creators who visit just to film without buying. If she could afford to buy one, she could film freely, but otherwise she is banned. Even her chat feels terrible for her, since she was only sharing some genuine automotive wisdom. Meanwhile, Xiaoyang is completely stunned after watching Jennings spend an absolute fortune. He just dropped 20 million in under 30 minutes. Even during her wealthiest days, her family never blew 20 million in just 20 minutes, after 2 hours of waiting. All the paperwork is finally processed. The red car is dispatched to Shuja while the Ferrari is ready for Jennings. However, a local license plate issue arises because he is not a local resident, but do not worry because his magical system activates a rare license plate generator skill. It is an incredibly premium registration plate, customized with his initials and featuring some of the most expensive numbers available. The manager stares, wondering what kind of secret billionaire Jennings actually is. Jennings pretends he pre-ordered the prestigious number months ago, observing how the registration official treats him. The manager genuinely wonders if Jennings is the secret heir to a mega-billionaire. He later meets back up with Xiang, who immediately suggests grabbing dinner together. Naturally, Jennings happily agrees to the date. Just then his phone starts buzzing with Shuang, begging Jennings to save him before he throws himself into the Huangpu River. He is absolutely devastated and claims to be completely heartbroken. Well, join the club. We all survived April and the tragic memories of Kaori, so he needs to man up. Surprisingly, Jen chooses his friend over a hot dinner date. Seriously, one less girl won't make any difference to his world. But his buddy is obsessed. Jae Yui can tell he wants Yuya. Because of this, they reschedule before Jin even arrives at the bar. What a mess. It turns out Yuya treats him like a dog. Yet he still barks on command. Despite that, he caught her slipping. He saw her sneak into the bathroom, following Shuang like a shadow. Heartbroken? Absolutely. Jin quickly reminds his friend of a very cold truth. Since they were never actually dating, she didn't technically cheat on him. Regardless, he needs to move on. Nobody deserves to be backup plan. Being just option 32, Jen tells him she belongs to the streets. Mushroom Head just chugs beers, desperately hoping to wash away his love. He prays that when the alcohol leaves, his feelings will vanish too. Finally, Jin calls him a taxi and sends him safely back home. Now alone, Jin hires a designated driver, but a drunk girl stumbles over. She loudly claims that his luxury sports car belongs to her boyfriend. Typical, this is Chen Lei, a girl with an incredibly high privacy score. An apology soon follows for the mix-up, saying Jen looks like her guy. Jen coldly tells her to beat it since she looks nothing like his. Undeterred, she starts flirting, openly offering to play a little game with him. Yeah, right, Jen is definitely not messing with a girl like that. Her body count is probably higher than everyone he has ever met. Luckily, his driver finally arrives, and she is a very familiar face. It is Cho Ying, the streamer kicked out of the auto show. Jen instantly blocks her camera, demanding to know her actual job tonight. She explains streaming is her main passion, but driving pays the bills. Then she asks to take a car photo and stream while they drive. Jen shrugs. He honestly does not care what she does on stream. She immediately starts showing off the car, flexing both the ride and herself. Meanwhile, that sloppy drunk girl tries to push back into the shot. Jen quickly shoos her away so they can finally head on out. Fun fact, Cho Ying used to blog about high-end sports cars. Jen notices her stream name and decides to look her up online. Oh man, he is shocked to find her donations are incredibly low. Her top fan only tipped 300 yuan, which is pretty sad. Despite over 10,000 viewers, her daily earnings are only 60 yuan. Rough, no wonder she has to work a second job to survive. She admits she has no real talent and hates flattering wealthy donors. Curious, she asks how Jen got inside the auto show so easily earlier. He laughs, guessing she probably spotted him leaving the Ferrari dealership. Soon, she pulls up and parks the car at the Ammon residence. Jen praises her driving, and she asks about his personal streaming taste. Of course, as an 18-year-old guy, his obvious answer is beautiful girls. She asks him to subscribe, but he warns her he is just a lurker. Still, he can see how hard she works to keep viewers engaged. She wants a free ride, so Jennings plays along for a brief moment. That forces her to realize the heavy weight of her own words. If she were Chen Lei or Zuya maybe, but she has only ever had simple car rides. She cannot even back up the wild claims she is making. After some quick teasing, Jennings ends the fun, leaving Yui with a massive blow to her confidence. Is she really too plain to interest him? Yet her favorability score still ticks upward and Jennings sees it all. He just watched them lie to their own faces. Right then, Wang Jiang messages him, asking to grab a quiet dinner with him tonight. They plan a meet-up since college is starting here. Building early social connections is always smart, so he asks the manager to prepare. Jennings orders a massive 5-course feast using the most premium ingredients. He acts completely casual to avoid looking like some clueless country rookie in front of them. 30 minutes later, the guests arrive and freeze. They stare in absolute shock at $3 million worth of rare food on the table. That is literally enough cash for him to easily buy a massive luxury mansion instead. After eating, they suggest drinks, but Jennings declines. He already had way too much alcohol to drink earlier this afternoon anyway. Promising to hang out tomorrow instead, he pays the $3 million bill with a smile. But thanks to his rebate card, he pockets $149 million. Talk about a highly profitable dinner, leaving us feeling pretty sorry for any hardworking authors. Because this lazy guy is just completely breaking the system. At this point, it is actually more surprising that his massive car purchases did not get refunded too. Soon, manager Wang leaves the room to let Jennings get some rest. Even though she is the one carrying the perfect pair of soft chest pillows he could use. Alone in his room, Jennings decides to load up Yui's stream. Her beauty score is clearly no exaggeration. Since his account is empty, the system naturally drops 3 million coins inside his digital wallet. Instantly, his streaming profile level skyrockets all the way up to 65. He sets his username to Dingai Shenzhen and enters the live stream chat like a boss. Yui immediately welcomes him since he is the highest level viewer around. Right now, she is facing a massive guild player versus player challenge that she absolutely must win. Round 1 is against Hong Ling, who is wearing 70 kilograms of heavy makeup. She is also utilizing about 70 different digital beauty filters today to hide her real face. Yui easily outshines her, but the massive supporter gap is just too brutal. In fact, she has never won a single match in her entire online streaming career. If she loses this, she will not even be able to pay rent. But right before the match kicks off, a brand new quest screen appears. Helping Yui win means he gets up to a 50 times cash back reward. This is honestly getting ridiculous, but now he has a real incentive. Becoming her main donor makes him wonder what else he might win from her in return. It is a pretty shameless thought, but hey, that is his style. The stream starts with Yui looking totally annoyed. She tries to guilt-trip them into sending gifts, but that move only ends up backfiring heavily. Angry comments start piling up immediately, leaving the chat completely toxic. She apologizes, trying to win back her easily offended chat. Meanwhile, Jin makes his first move, dropping 5 cheap digital chickens. Yui thanks him, but secretly she's left wondering. What kind of loser donates $1 while running a level 65 account? She even begins to question if her looks are actually that bad. Yui sits at 20 points while her opponent is already at 300. Jen then asks Yui if she will be his designated driver tomorrow since she streamed as one earlier. Today, if he wins this, she agrees. Instantly, this eager guy drops 3 of the most expensive super rockets at once, worth 2,000 points each. All. Of a sudden, Yui is 20 times ahead, leading 6,200 to 300. Not even Oklahoma got swept like this by the Memphis Grizzlies back in 2021. Hang. Ling's irritation begins to show, as dealing with a high-tier donor in the first round was definitely not on her bucket list of 100 things before turning into a zombie. Hang Ling tries to win Jen over, but she does not realize that Jen is just a player who only likes exploring uncharted territory when he is the very first one there. Right now, Yui is his target. At least he will make sure that the deal is beneficial to both parties. It is completely up to the girls if they let him. Inside their forbidden garden, Yui then starts singing to tip the scales in. Her direction, though her voice turns out to be a major win for the deaf community. Jen finds it pretty cute and silly though, since her other assets easily make up for it. Meanwhile, Hang Ling desperately tries to persuade her biggest patron, Dewey, to donate as much as possible. With the round officially starting, Dewey and Hang Ling try to scare off Yui and Jen. Little do they know they are up against someone with absolute plot armor. The spectators are amazed to see these massive donations in just the first round. Jen keeps up easily, thoroughly enjoying the cute, panicked look on Yui's face. To keep that expression going, Jen drops 20 big gifts at once. Yui's stream even lags, leaving her wondering what is wrong. When she realizes what happened, she freezes. 40,000 dropped like it is nothing. And honestly, it is nothing to a guy who never has to sweat for money. The chat has already crossed 10,000 viewers. Yui bows low to thank him, ensuring his eyes land exactly on her assets on display. This is her very first time receiving 20 big gifts at once, but he is planning on much more later. Once she is actually in his room, Jen suddenly notices her face looks quite different than usual. The heavy filters she uses actually hide her original, natural beauty. He asks her to turn them off. She hesitates, not wanting to. Yui lacks the confidence, but she owes him big for this round. She finally agrees to do so. Suddenly, all those viewers realize what seemed to be an 8 out of 10 is actually an 11. They thank Jen for noticing her natural beauty. Her fans even ban her from using filters ever again. Round 2 begins against Shone. Yui calls for backup and Shone's main supporter, Yeshua, starts off with 5 expensive planes. Jen fires back with super rockets until the opponent drains his bank account. Shone is crushed. One by one, Yui knocks out her competitors, with Jen's heavy backing, easily sailing all the way into the final round. Her final opponent is Dashia, a top 3 creator on the entire platform. She is gorgeous, highly talented, and knows how to dance and sing incredibly well. Unlike Yui, who has zero performance skills, Dashia was deliberately sent. The whole guild is buzzing since some big shot dropped 800,000 to push Yui into the finals. Even Jen is enjoying the gorgeous dance May just blessed them with. He praises her openly, leaving Yui terrified that she is about to be abandoned like a clueless kid whose dad stepped out to grab some cigarettes 5 years ago, but that is only if Jen were simply giving money out of kindness to the more talented girl. However, Jen is only doing this to please Lei Jang. Right now, he is just showing everyone the absolute power of money. Yui begs Jang to back her for one more round. She promises to take professional dance classes right after this stream so that she can dance exactly how Jeneng wants. But Dashia did not come alone. She is backed by 3 massive whale donors, 3 more creeps who drool at the sight of women on their phone screens, 3 undefeated champions who only spend their cash on only 2 things, revealing women and tissue paper. Unbelievable, right? Yui mocks one of these legendary online perverts, knowing that Jang has her back. The chat absolutely loves the sheer boldness of this rookie streamer. Jenning only has 3 million points in this app. With only 2 million left, he wonders if he can beat these undefeated whales. So Jang loads up more cash through his bank account and spams 20 rockets at once. Since he is this deep, he needs Yui to win to secure those sweet cashback rewards. He will enjoy this battle among the dishwashers a bit more. Soon, the ultimate clash of online perverts between Jenang and those 3 Lev concludes. Yui wins with 1.6 million points against Xiaomi's 575,000, having completely drained the 3 losers and claimed his crown on the platform. He fires off a few more rockets to declare victory. Yui cannot believe she won. Not only that, but she brought in over 2.5 million with 50,000 viewers watching. She will take home 700,000 in commission from today's stream alone. Grateful, she thanks Jang and asks for his number to show her appreciation in any way he likes. Jang politely declines. She can just be his designated driver to a man, Yang Yun again. Now, Yui and her entire chat finally realize that the legendary Ding Hai Shenzhen is the young driver from earlier. Yui's friendliness rating shoots up to 85 as she wonders why Jang did all this for him. If she took a quick look down her dress, she would instantly find his motivation. But the girls in this story are definitely as clueless as the author writing this mess. Jang only needs 5 more affection points. The setup is absolute perfection. He just needs to line up the cue and sink the shot. time for the rewards. Since Yui's satisfaction reached the maximum limit, he gets a 1,000 times cashback multiplier. A staggering 2,030,000,000 is instantly deposited into his bank account. Even advanced calculus makes more sense than this ridiculous economy, Jen reflects on. The incredible night he had while making a massive fortune. Life is easy when you are the author's favorite child. The next morning, Jen wakes up to Yui's text, asking when she should begin her shift as his designated driver. She could not sleep thinking about him all night. Jang has plans to meet Wang Jang for taxes, so he tells her to pick him up tonight. Now she is absolutely thrilled. At 8 p.m., Yui meets up with Jeneng way earlier than expected and warmly thanks him for last night. Jeneng acts completely cool, secretly pleased to see that what he wants to achieve is only a few hours away. Jang visits the most popular and massive club in Shanghai, a regular hangout spot for all the major celebrities. They arrive and boom, he gets instantly swarmed by beautiful women. They are all just waiting for some wealthy guy to show them a good time in exchange for their obvious charms. Seriously, has this author ever actually stepped outside his own room or what? We probably shouldn't try to make sense of this wild story, just enjoy the view. The girls crowd around, trying to serve him. Yui watches this unfold, feeling totally left behind as they slowly drag him away. She hates seeing her trash collector get snatched up by other garbage. How dare they try to grab him just because he is rich? Only she should have that right after seeing his massive cash flex last night. She pushes through the crowd and grabs Jang's hand, marking her territory. The crowd scatters. Jang pulls her clothes, asking if she is his lover. She quickly denies it, claiming she only wanted to save his skin. With that, she pushes him away, but Jang hates being rejected. He warns her never to do something like that to him again. Do not steal a hungry man's meal unless you plan to feed him. Outside, Da and Wang Hun step out to see the commotion. Seeing Jang there, they realize no more questions need to be asked. Obviously, everyone would go completely wild for a guy like him. They ask about Yui. Jang explains she is just his designated driver. He needs someone sober to take him back home later tonight. Wang Hun nods, calling it expected of a true martial arts master. Wait, what on earth does martial arts have to do with driving a car? This logic is absolutely wild. Either way, they head inside the bar. They find stunning women inside. Jang thanks Wang Shang for setting up the perfect arrangements. Nobody could have done it better. Wang Shang immediately orders 2 luxury sets costing over 200,000. But they still feel it does not match Jang's dinner last night. He boasts to a girl nearby that Jang spent 3 million on a single dinner. Hearing this, the girls are completely shocked. Since they are here for cash, they instantly shower him with pure admiration. 3 bottles arrive with 3 bunny girls. The drinks start flowing. A girl named Zio Kang tries to get closer to Jang. However, he prefers his space. He checks her stats and is surprised by her 98 rated body, though her purity score is pretty low. At least he notices that Yui is getting incredibly jealous again. She thought he would want much more than just a quick hug. She hates seeing him get so touchy with other girls right here. Yui decides to make a move and raises her glass for a toast. Jang welcomes it, but she turns down the drink, citing her driving. He can see the desperation in Yui's eyes, begging for his attention. The others can wait. Tonight he is focusing entirely on Yui. Jang finally makes his move on her, but Yui has absolutely zero experience. She recalls reading advice online saying that girls should always act reserved. Playing hard to get is Yui's strategy here, but it totally backfires. Jang is just getting irritated at her. After spending 2 million, she is still acting all shy. Jang gets up and hits the dance floor with the other girls, leaving Yui completely alone. Seriously, no one beats this author in a corny contest, but at least he is compensating by putting gorgeous girls in literally every single panel. Jang has 2 arms, so he locks a beauty in each one, having the absolute time of his life. When the girls suggest watching a movie, Jang agrees. Meanwhile, these guys crowd around just to flatter Jang, laughing at how hilarious he is. Honestly, in this universe, we either have gorgeous girls for him to win over, or guys constantly boosting his ego. Yui tries to interrupt the group, but Jang completely ignores her, just brutal. Now Yui is on the absolute verge of tears. She deeply regrets pushing him away like that. she actually came tonight ready to take a massive step. Yet Jang keeps freezing her out. Still, he glances back and spots her tears. The plan worked. Yui is finally at 90 friendliness. Jang was intentionally making her jealous to trigger this. He spends another 2 hours dealing serious emotional damage to Yui, who has somehow fallen completely head over heels for him. Finally, the party wraps up, and Jang calls a cab for the two girls. It looks like he is bringing them along to his hotel since 4 people cannot fit in his tiny car. Instead, he pays the cabbie and tells Uns to drop the girls off safely at home. Uns even tells him to photograph the license plate, guaranteeing both beauties make it back home safely. Of course, the girls are not exactly thrilled about this sudden turn of events. All that teasing with zero action afterwards has them completely annoyed. Jang and Yui get back to the hotel 30 minutes later. Yui asks if she can stay. Because traveling alone so late is dangerous, Jang just reminds her of what she said earlier. That she is not that kind of girl, so he sends her taxi fare telling her to head out, but Yui drops the polite begging act and flat out tells him she is staying right here. Jang, being the stubborn guy he is, tells her to book another room. But then she argues that the bed is easily large enough to fit both of them. He refuses, fully expecting her to sit down and make the first move. Sadly, Yui has absolutely no idea how this game works. She drops to the floor and bursts into tears, wondering why Jang hates her this much, and why he treats her like the delayed third season of an anime. Jang is finally learning the hard way about chasing girls with zero experience. He kneels down, offers a sincere apology, and finally leans in to kiss her, while secretly laughing at how overly dramatic his life has become. In that moment, Yui confesses she fell for him the exact moment she realized he rescued her last night. To her, he was like a knight in shining armor during her darkest hour. Sure, if that knight had some pretty questionable motives behind his heroism. Regardless, Jang wraps his arms around her, admitting that he likes her too. He then leads her to the bed, and after 20 long years, her relationship score finally jumps from 0 to 1. The following morning, Suin visits Xiao Shaw's talent agency and asks about Jang. Xiao Shaw already knows he plans on signing Suin to his company. She also plans to resign herself as soon as the corporate handover is completely finished. Suin asks why she is walking away from the executive role she worked so incredibly hard to build. She is smart enough to side with the main character, ensuring fate stays with her. Still, Suin has no idea why Xiao trusts this guy so much. Right then, an office boy walks in, asking manager Xiao to come downstairs. A package arrived. She has been rejecting everything lately. It is all because of her trash ex-fiancé. Usually beauties like her get presents. But you cannot exactly turn down a sports car that is already paid for. They go downstairs and find a flashy pink Lamborghini that Jiang sent her. Everyone in the office is completely shocked, wishing they had a boyfriend like him. Xiao's favorability score instantly shoots up to 90 points. Nobody has ever treated her like this, but that makes absolute sense. Normal guys are not written by business gurus, and remember, guys, reading one business post is like unreading 5 books. Their relationship advances to the point of being completely inseparable. Naturally, he gets a system reward. He receives a consumption cashback card with a 1 to 100 multiplier. The second reward has a name so ridiculous it barely makes sense. Out of all the words available, the author wrote that exact sentence. We are wasting our free will. Honestly, Jiang's father should have used this card so his mother could have devoured him and spared us this. Anyway, a stable investment company reward window pops up on his screen. Talk about an easy ride. This entire story is running on autopilot. With zero effort from Jiang, he invests 500 million to start his own firm, earning a 10% profit. Finally, we get a realistic percentage. He names his new business Star Investment Company. He is earning 1.5 billion per second. Right then, Yui returns. Wearing only a towel, Jiang wonders if he should use his card on her. But since she is new to this, they settle for breakfast instead. Over food, Yui asks him to stop sending tips during her streams, since 67% goes straight to the platform, leaving her with 30. She really does not want Jiang wasting so much money. On top of that, she refuses any direct cash handouts. What he did last night was more than enough. Even manager Wang is stunned to hear about this rich Guy spending 2 million on a stream. Yui asks to keep broadcasting, since she is ready to quit if Jiang wants her to, but she does not sell out her body for views, so he supports her. Her reputation is spotless anyway. Jiang just wants her to let him know. If any big creators try to push her around, Jiang then instructs Manager Wang to extend his hotel stay by another 2 months. He wants zero stress. Both Wang and Yui immediately try to explain to him that this is an absolute waste of money, especially since he travels constantly back and forth. It is not like he is staying here for 60 days. He could buy an entire mansion with that cash instead of renting a room. While that makes perfect sense, why is manager Wang so worried about him? She seems more loyal to Jiang than to her own hotel. Intrigued, he pulls up her profile and checks her score. It is already 80 points. The wildest part is that her intimacy count is still 0. At 24, Yuan has never met a decent guy, and now she is definitely falling for a scumbag. Yuan feels incredibly shy under Jang's direct, intense gaze. She knows this kiddo has had 2 different girls in 6 days. Yet she wants to be next. What if he asks for something extra? Jang, on the other hand, has felt a weird urge inside him since day 1. Like holding a sharp pen right before a balloon. Pure urge. Jang feels that exact same desire to pop Yuan's balloon and open up her apps. He wants to see how far he can take things, but with Yui here, he decides to wait. Postponing that for later, Yuan takes Jang's credit card and departs to book the suite for another 2 months. On her way, she runs into her coworker who asks if her is he difficult? Not at all. In fact, he is impossible to resist. Now Batty is stressed. Batty is bottom of the ranking. Her latest client checked out, leaving her completely free. Now everyone envies Yuan. A whole week is unheard of. Or 2 at most. Gently, Yuan encourages her, saying there are still 20. Don't worry yet. Batty wonders what Yuan will do since her guest is checking out today. That is when Yuan reveals that her wealthy client wants to extend for 2 more months. This news absolutely paralyses her coworker with envy. That commission alone is 240,000, yet Yuan wants to request a discount, happily taking a lower commission. Batty jokingly offers to help look after him since Yuan has worked 6 days straight. Is he hot? Yuan does not have to answer. Her deeply blushing face reveals everything. Batty offers to serve him completely for free without taking any commission. She just wants a piece of him. Yuan tells her to stop teasing. Her guest is a literal billionaire, so he can have anyone he wants, but she cannot help but wonder if he likes her. Maybe he thinks about her too. With that hope, she heads to the office. The manager is utterly stunned. A high roller like Jang deserves a personal thank you from CEO Wang himself. 10 minutes later, Jang receives a notification for 3.8 million. Subtracted from his account. Was it a mistake? It should have been 4.8 million, but then the system kicks in, depositing 380 million. A knock sounds. It is Yuan and the manager. Then CEO Wang arrives. A 20% discount requested by Yuan. Give him 20% off all super VIP services. This discount just cost. This cost Jang 100 million, but he respects her. She even slashed her own commission. Unbelievable. Jang thanks the CEO, promising to remember this favor. The CEO then leaves after ordering Yuan to take care of all of Jang's needs. Yui clings to Jeneng in the room, insisting she does not want to leave, but Jeneng tells her that he has major business to handle, but she is welcome to stay here. Staying with Jeneng is the whole point, period. She has zero interest in fancy hotel services, so Jeneng promises to call soon. Her once he is free. An hour later, Jeneng meets up with his actual business. Turns out, with insane power comes ridiculous responsibilities. Specifically, dealing with an incredibly annoying guy who just will not go away. You know how male titans do not have reproductive organs? Well, this clown is back again, trying out a brand new tactic. He demands that Zio marries him, or he will jump into the river. Jeneng is pretty annoyed that Zio kept this persistent pest a secret. But she did not think a worthless cheater was worth mentioning. Besides, the wealthy guy she chose over the cheater just spent the night with someone else, but he bought her a Lambo, so he is definitely better. Zio wants Jenning to simply ignore him, but the loud mouth won't stop. He continues shouting, reminding Zio that he does not even know how to swim, meaning whatever happens to him next is entirely her own fault. Then he tries to grab her arm, but our main character finally steps in. Jennings has read Solo Leveling, so he knows exactly how to maximize his aura. He already knows precisely how to deal with this loud, annoying dramatic guy. He calls the nearby security guards over and warns them about the suicide threat. But instead of saving him, Jennings wants them to let the idiot drown. The terrified guy quickly reminds the guards that letting someone drown is highly illegal. Honestly, what should really be illegal is wearing that hideous flat tie. The guards look completely confused, so Jennings steps in with a better offer. He makes an incredibly tempting proposal that could support their entire families. For men earning barely 5,000, getting a chance to clear out this trash, while pocketing millions is an absolute no-brainer, the panicked guy tries to argue, desperately reminding the guards what they are agreeing to do in broad daylight. But Jennings points out that jumping in the river was his own idea. He should face the consequences, but the guards look hesitant. Jennings decides to change his strategy. He transfers 100,000 to each guard to beat the absolute living daylights out of this pathetic and dramatic clown. Paying them in advance, he calmly watches his money do the work. Zio gets bored of the drama and wants to move on already. She refuses to let their date get ruined by this annoying clown. 5 minutes later, the guards drag the beaten guy away and exchange numbers. They are eager to help him with any similar tasks in the future. Jennings asks Zio not to hide trouble like this from him next time. Thankfully, there is a very high chance that the pest won't bother them again. Also, it has been a short while since the system gifted him anything. It has actually been a few hours since the last reward, so right on cue. A screen pops up, gifting Jennings his very own private security firm. Now he has professional muscle to handle dirty work without ever getting his hands dirty. From now on, every order goes directly through his phone. With plans to find a new head office, Jennings and Shia Shah begin their little work date. She is just glad the recent chaos did not ruin Jennings' mood. It would have if office hunting was his only goal, but he is actually hunting far bigger prey. Soon enough, the two of them arrive at the massive Shanghai Financial Center. Jennings absolutely loves the place, perfect for a starting company. Yeah, because normal startups can totally afford a fully furnished floor in an elite corporate tower. Still, one thing, their most frequent work needs to feel comfortable. Shia Shah immediately catches his drift and steps over to close the blinds. With the room sealed off from prying eyes, she drops to her knees and starts crawling forward. She acts like a good girl, happily hydrating herself directly from Jennings' personal tap. After finalizing the lease, Jennings heads back to his hotel where Yuan is thrilled to greet him. She sweetly asks if he wants to start with a massage or a warm bath. But Jennings just wants food first. That disappoints Yuan since she had a whole plan ready. She spent so much time practicing some wild new techniques to try out on him. He just needs to restore his drained energy to battle Yuan at full health. Unfortunately, Shia Shah already drained him of all his stamina. So he calls it a night. The next day, Jennings heads over to the big auto show. While chatting, Jennings suddenly spots an absolute goddess standing nearby. She is posing next to a luxury car, his old classmate Zhou Ying. But for some reason, she looks pretty uncomfortable and miserable right now. Right then, some greasy creep sneaks up to snap a dirty picture of her. The pervert genuinely believes that she deserves this treatment just because of her outfit. Not on his watch, Jennings steps in and kicks the creep with full force. That is one solid kick to remind this creep exactly who he is dealing with. Jennings casually claims his foot slipped, breaking the guy's phone by complete accident. The furious creep tries to throw a punch, but Jennings smoothly dodges it. He keeps his hands in his pockets the entire time, since the creep swung first. Jennings can legally use self-defense, and we all know the best defense is an attack. One clean move, Jennings completely knocks the absolute creep out cold. The scuffle ends, and the embarrassed manager rushes over to apologize. He begs for forgiveness, but Jennings just tells him to call the police. Afterward, he tells Wang he honestly expected a much better crowd in Shanghai. Wang insists these creeps are rare, offering another round of sincere apologies. Zhou Ying warmly thanks Jennings for saving her as he checks if she is all right. Jennings then introduces Zhou Ying to Wang and Chen Hao as his former classmate. She playfully asks if he is buying another car, and he mentions his father. He wants to pick up a sweet ride as a surprise for his dad. She reminds him that she still owes him a nice dinner sometime. Then she asks when he is visiting Chengdu, but he is not quite sure. Instead, he invites her to a dinner that Chen Hao is hosting tonight. She happily agrees, promising to text him the second her shift ends. Jeneng wanders around the venue and spots a gorgeous luxury sports sedan. It only costs 2.2 million pocket change for a guy like him. He requests a special delivery to Chengdu for a grand surprise. The guys quickly congratulate him on snapping up yet another high-end ride. But Jen claims he chose this specific car model simply because it really doesn't look very expensive, otherwise his mom would scold him. Honestly, you just can't tell if he's humble bragging or poverty maxing. Meanwhile, Wang Sheng is absolutely floored. Watching Zhang buy his fourth multi-million-dollar car in just 7 days, and even Shen Hao feels a twinge of jealousy because his own rides were bought with daddy's money. At least Zhang's dad worked hard, unlike a certain protagonist getting a senseless mountain of wealth while pretending he's the one working tireless, sleepless nights. To reach the top, seriously, the least the author could do was give him some humility. Instead, we get monthly doses of pure rage bait. Just pure cornball vibes. By the time Zhang finally finishes up the paperwork, Juing is officially off the clock. Even in simple casual clothes, she stands far above every other girl. No wonder she is the school's prettiest girl. With summer break winding down, Jeneng asks if she will be heading back soon. She nods, then asks if he is shocked to see her working a job just to make some pocket change. She knows everyone talks behind her back though, some even mock her transition from a rich Bentley girl to a minimum wage part-timer. Hilarious. But she isn't bothered, no real friends anyway. So whatever they say, she doesn't care. To her, earning her own cash feels way more rewarding and real. Of course, Jeneng wouldn't understand that feeling, since he is just the author's spoiled golden boy. Instead, he just says that pretty girls shouldn't struggle for cash. Not everyone wants to do absolutely anything for money, Jen. It's not that easy. Fact, things get even harder when people constantly try to exploit you for a favor, but even during this incredibly heavy talk, Jen still can't stop flirting and throwing out smooth lines. Classic scumbag behavior. All he ever thinks about is himself. He always knew Xiao Ying was a refined beauty, but never expected her to be this incredibly down-to-earth. What a groundbreaking compliment. Anyway, Xiao Ying insisted on treating him to thank him, yet she ends up getting a completely free dinner. Eventually, they arrive at the local farmhouse where Chen Hao and Wang Yung welcome them warmly, and of course, trouble arrives. This guy looks like he failed basic English class. It turns out Wang Chang has a massive grudge against Wang Shang and only shows up to stir up trouble. But since they can't easily throw him out, they have to stay polite and host him. But then Shan Hao mistakenly calls him Xiao Chang instead of Wang. That simple slip is more than enough to set him off. Seriously, incredible naming skills from the author. Zhang is the hero and everyone else is just named Wang, this random guy who looks like a struggling teenager. Calms Xiao Chang. They join Zhang's table, and 30 minutes later this yellow-haired clown is completely wasted. He starts bragging about exclusive stock market tips since he recently pocketed 10 million. Honestly, do not be surprised if you see him peddling some masterclass soon. If your strategy is that good, why sell courses? Just spend those hours trading instead. He even starts throwing slick sarcastic remarks at Chenhe and Wang Zhang. Seriously. One lucky trade and this guy thinks he holds keys to the entire market. But Shenhe knows how to shut him up. He calmly reminds Xiao Chang about those 2 million he owes. Zhang tells him to cool down. They only came here to have a good time, but Shou Chang snaps, furiously calling Zhang country bumpkin. He even hurls his glass right at him. Luckily, his throw misses entirely, but the flying liquid still ends up completely ruining Joy Ying's shirt. That is the limit. Chen Hao and Wang Zhang jump up to kick him out, realizing he is completely outnumbered in this fight. The red-haired lackey of Shou Chang instantly betrays him. Coward. Seeing everyone turn against him, Shou Chang panics. Zhang steps forward. Apologize right now, Zhang demands. The idiot refuses, so Zhang slaps him hard again and again until this dramatic brat finally begins to apologize. Zhang keeps mocking him, but the insults are too weak to even mention here. Enraged, Shou Chang grabs a heavy wooden chair to strike. Too slow, Jang kicks him down like a pro athlete demolishing. A toddler, Wang Jiang barks at the humiliated loser to get lost. Shou Chang retreats, muttering threats. He vows to get his revenge. Turns out his family secured a massive market share too. Years ago, making him arrogant, Jang only smiles. Let us see how capable they actually are. Party ruined, Jang decides to drive Joy Ying home. The host keeps apologizing, but Jang knows it is not the fault of his friends. On the way back, Jang hands the keys over to Joy Ying so he can play passenger princess. He asks her about racing. She never tried because of her strict family. Someday, though. They arrive. She shyly thanks Jang for his help, blushing deeply as she quickly turns her face away. This is clearly her developing deep feelings for him. Back alone, Jang pulls out his phone to test the security forces given by his system. His target is the food business of Shou Chang. Later that night, social media absolutely explodes with endless complaints about products from Wang Foods. The negative feedback spreads like wildfire. Even the news channels are reporting on the disaster. Angry citizens are boycotting them overnight. Wang Jiang and Chen Hao realize that Jang is behind this brutal revenge. He did say he would test them, though the Wang family is wealthy. They cannot recover easily from this. The financial blow is far too great. It terrifies his friends. They never expected Jang to be this dangerous. Meanwhile, the father of Shou Chang is fuming, completely clueless. He is losing his mind over this life and death business crisis. The brainless son who caused this does not seem to care. But someone is clearly, systematically tearing down their empire. Staring at the bruised face of his son, he finally understands the truth. Shou Chang mumbles about some country bumpkin. He promises to deal with him later. Furious, his dad slaps him across the room. He barks at him to stop acting tough when he has no real backbone. In one single day, the miserable boy gets slapped relentlessly. The connections form, his son getting beaten and the company facing ruin cannot be a coincidence. 30 long years of hard work completely gone. Their 70% market share suddenly crashed to 40, leaving Shou Chang completely baffled. He doesn't think Jang is behind this. After all, that guy's brain is way too small. He can't think past his own room. Still, Uncle Heisenberg orders him to beg. He must plead with Jang to stop, or the old man will divorce his mom. Looks like his dad was just hunting for a quick escape. Shou Chang tells his father to do what he wants. He refuses to beg. Even his mother jumps into the conversation, pleading that he shouldn't take a minor setback so far. They survived worse things before. They will surely get through this too. To show them just how serious this is, the father drops a massive truth bomb. If they divorced yesterday, she would have got 500 million. Today, she gets 100. He tells his son one last time to fix the issue or bring back divorce papers. His mother absolutely refuses to live on such a tiny amount of cash. She also insists that Shou Chang should just go and beg the mastermind. Meanwhile, over at the hotel, Jang's security team delivers some major news. They confirm that the plan succeeded and the Wang family net worth has crashed. They suffered an 80% loss. Wait, is he seriously drinking soup with milk? Yui asks Jang if he needs anything else, but he politely thanks her. He asks if she was the one who changed his clothes after he passed out drunk. Turns out she did. Seeing him with Zhou Ying made her realize a rival entered the chat. She realized there was no time to waste before making her big move. So she changed his clothes and claimed the payment for her favor. That reward tasted sweet, thanks to a weird skill the system gave Jang. Zhou Ying claims all she did was change his clothes and nothing else. Definitely nothing inappropriate happened involving her mouth and his lollipop. He does not recall it that way, but he figures it was just a dream. She then eagerly offers to show him a new massage technique she learned. Jang lies down, only to find this new technique is basically under her skirt. His face flushes bright red as he realizes how much she trusts him. His inner urges scream at him to seize this golden opportunity. Once the regular massage is finished, Yui moves directly to the very special treatment. Their uncanny positions perfectly align Jang's mouse right next to Yui's computer. With the connection successful, they decide to go all the way. Yui's privacy rating climbs by 1 full point. Meanwhile, a stressed-out Shou Chang arrives to beg. He is at a local hotel with a girl, trying to calm down first. Apologizing is stressful, so what better way to relax? Unfortunately, both of his credit cards get instantly declined at the reception desk. He desperately begs the girl to pay, but look at his pathetic face. No one would buy that look even if he was 10 years younger. The girl instantly walks out, leaving Shou Chang to brainstorm his next move. The receptionist asks if he still wants to check in, but he snaps back at her angrily. He yells that his date left, so why would he need a room? He asks if she wants to take her place, but her face shows complete disgust. She would rather take math classes forever than accompany him. His dad confirms his cards are locked until he fixes this mess. He then calls Jang directly, only to find him enjoying the exact pleasure he just missed out on. He admits his mistake. He wants a meeting with Jang so he can apologize. Wang Jiang and Chen Hao are stunned. They never saw him like this. Wang Jiang agrees to pass on the request but promises nothing. Chen Hao is confused. Why not just decline right away? Wang Jiang explains that Xiao Chang is basically begging to be humbled. Oh boy. Why stop him? Why take away Jiang's fun? They both know the truth. Even if they stop now, the Wang family cannot bounce back anyway. He asks Jang if he will meet Xiao Chang. Jang agrees. He texts Xiao Ying inviting her out tonight. They meet later. Wang Jiang and Chen Hao teasingly calls Xiao Ying his official girlfriend. Surprisingly, she does not correct them. She likes it. Jang orders 3 expensive bottles of giant dragon liquor and snacks. The manager asks if they want some special snacks sent over. Chen Hao immediately scolds him for offering that in front of her. The manager quickly apologizes, then he scrambles away. Once the drinks arrive, Xiao Ying admits she is highly curious. Too bad she cannot drink since she has to drive. Jang tells her not to worry, he will buy some bottles. She can enjoy them at home. His sweet gesture touches her. This decent, honorable guy is not trying to get her drunk. To her, this is proof of just how much he cares. Suddenly, the guest of honor arrives. Xiao Chang is here. He is ready to drop to his knees and beg Jang for absolute forgiveness. Xiao Ying is unhappy, but Jang tells her to just watch. Xiao Chang bows deeply and apologizes, but Jang stops him. He is apologizing to the wrong person. Apologize to her. Xiao Chang immediately bows to Xiao Ying. Her heart races. Jang then brings up his earlier insults. Remember the country bumpkin. And the smashed bottles, since he loves smashing bottles so much. Jang hands him 3 bottles of giant dragon. You know what happens next. Xiao Chang never expected such brutal humiliation, but he is desperate. He has absolutely no choice. He grabs the heavy bottles. He smashes them over his own head. Jang and the boys clap. Xiao Chang passes out cold. Jang calmly calls for an ambulance. With the trash cleared, he happily returns to his date. They raise a toast. The nearby staff is now absolutely terrified of him. Meanwhile, another wealthy patron at the bar is highly intrigued by Jang. Xiao Chang is a notorious bully who only fears Chinfen. Yet Jang completely broke him. This kid is incredibly dangerous. After the party, Xiao Ying happily thanks him for doing so much for her. She asks if their next date can be private, just them. Jang promises that no annoying pests will ruin their next night. After dropping her off, Jang orders his team to stop. The security leader warns him that his greedy relative, Jang Yu, is digging for dirt with plans to file a major lawsuit. This annoying mosquito also keeps pestering Shou Chang, pushing Jang to his absolute limit. He has had enough of his harassment, like an obsessed ex. This clown keeps coming back, so he tells his security head to set a trap and drag him out of the country. Back at the hotel, Yuan approaches Jang with a bright red face. She cannot stop reliving their last intimate oil massage in her head. Jang pulls her clothes, but Yuan quickly reminds him that they have not even entered the room yet. Someone might see them. They finally go inside and bypass the bed zone before, so they decide to target the cozy sofa zone this time. Yuan gets down on her knees, working hard like an employee begging for a major raise. Meanwhile, a muscular man walks into a nature bar and heads to the counter. The other guy sitting there is Zhang Yu, who knows that 9 out of 10 people in this bar are completely insane. The newcomer plays a voice message for him, confirming that he is indeed one of those guys and a dominant top. Zhang Yu cannot wait to serve as his personal ashtray. He flirts a bit with the handsome stranger and realizes he is in a highly vulnerable state. The man introduces himself as Lee Min Hong, and Jang Yu listens to his pathetic sob story for an hour and a half. Just when Jang Yu thinks things are finally getting interesting, Lee Min Hong stands up to leave, mentioning he has an urgent flight to catch. He says goodbye, though he admits he really wanted to get to know Jang Yu much better. He also felt a genuine spark between them. Jang Yu refuses to let this perfect chance slip away, so he books a last-minute flight to Thailand to follow him. The next afternoon, Jang lands at the Thailand airport and is immediately greeted by Wang. Of course, it is another guy named Wang. Jang can now scan male statistics as well. Unlike before when his system scanning was limited to girls and Jang Yu, this captain already has a friendliness value of 120 and leads him to the hotel where Jang Yu is bound. The guards wake him up and Jang Yu still thinks he is tied up for some kinky play. Little does he know his easy life is completely over. Forever, looking up to see Jang standing there, Jang Yu finally realizes that he has been honey-trapped. Jang coldly reminds him of his previous warning, but Jang Yu argues that murder is against the law, but his constant harassment of Shou Chang was highly illegal too. Jang knows that fatal drug overdoses claim a high number of lives every single day in Thailand, and nobody will notice if that count goes up by one. Alternatively, Jang generously offers plenty of other dark ideas. It is up to Jang Yu to pick his favorite, deciding to avoid actual murder. Jang chooses to let him off the hook one last time, but orders his men to take all of Jang Yu's money, cards, passport, and identification. If he somehow survives and makes it back home, Jang will consider it divine intervention. With that problem sorted, Jang decides to pay a visit to the Hong Chang group. He has not signed for the massive shares from his last system reward yet. Now that he is in town, it is the perfect time. Jang arrives and meets the major shareholder Mario. Following a very warm greeting, Mario presents the transfer contract. Jang trusts him completely and signs immediately. Normally, most people would have their lawyers review everything, but Mario's friendliness rating is at 110, so he would never dream of betraying Jang. With all the business out of the way, Mario offers to show Jang some exciting local culture. Jang is already looking forward to. He spent too much energy on 3 cultural activities back home with Shou Chang, Yin, and Yu Yan. So he turns down the offer, but he still wants to spin around the city to see the real culture, and Wang Jang accompanies him. Since it is late, their only real option is exploring the local night market. They head over, and while grabbing a bite at a food stall, Jang spots something fishy. 2 creepy guys are trying to add a little girl to their sick inventory. Jang signals his security head to save the kid, and Wang Jang leaps in, sending both thugs flying, and Jang then approaches the little girl to ask if she is lost. The adorable kid introduces herself as Annie, thanking Jang for saving her life, explaining that her mom refused to buy her cuttlefish, so she slipped away. Luckily, she still remembers her mother's phone number, so Jang gives her a quick call, and 10 minutes later the mother arrives. Jang instantly gets why Annie calls her mommy instead of mama. It is Anshin. She might look like a complete baddie, but she is still an Asian mom. The first thing she does is smack Annie for running off, before pulling her into a tight hug. Anshin then thanks Jang for saving her daughter, admitting she needs to keep a much closer eye on Annie, promising to be far more careful moving forward. Little Annie has clearly taken a liking to Jang, basically making her his future wingman. Anshin offers to treat him to a meal, but Jang explains he is heading back to Wrong City tomorrow. What an absolute coincidence, since Anshin actually lives there too. Since they already swapped numbers, she promises to properly thank him once they both return. Jang checks her profile, only to realize that Anshin's privacy setting is literally at 0. He is totally baffled. Is Annie some sort of Bluetooth child, or was she downloaded straight from torrent? Honestly, he is just pretty happy because maybe Anshin can be his mommy in the future too. As they walk away, her security head asks if they should investigate Jang, but she immediately tells him no. Her sharp instincts tell her he is no ordinary man, and investigating him carelessly could trigger some pretty dire consequences. By the very next night, Jang is already back at home. His parents are just glad he actually remembers how to visit. Jang then hands over the lovely gifts he bought with Suan. Mama Jang is thrilled to see her son has way better taste than his father. But Dad plays his absolute trump card, reminding her that marrying him was her choice. When they ask about the cost, Jang flat out lies about the price to avoid. Shocking them, then like a classic Asian mother, she smoothly pivots the conversation toward Jang's wedding, mentioning that some of her colleagues have single daughters, knowing there is no end to this conversation and knowing that even his system cannot save him here, Jang immediately flees. Papa Jang is pretty pleased. His retirement investment in raising a son is paying off. Mama Jang is just amazed that even after all these years, her husband still knows the absolute worst combination of words to ruin the mood. Soon, Jang sees massive crowd gathered around someone and suddenly he catches a very familiar name, Joel. Ying is standing right in the middle, looking deeply embarrassed as someone proposes to her, and it is not just any guy but a rich jerk offering a necklace worth tens of thousands of dollars. Shockingly, he is another Wang. Jolo Ying tells Wang Yui to stop causing a massive scene, since he already knows she only sees him as a friend. Wang Yui vows his feelings will never change. Once she accepts, he is ready. They will go buy a massive, custom-made diamond ring, but Zhou Ying is furious. She wants him to stop immediately. However, Wang Yui came completely prepared. He even hired a whole cheer squad to pressure her into saying yes. It looks like a romantic gesture, but it is just a toxic guilt trip. Right on cue, a glowing system window finally pops up in front of Jang. The special mission gives him a choice: stand by or rescue Zhou Ying. Honestly, the rewards do not even matter, but the system is being generous. Jang decides to save her. Meanwhile, Zhou Ying is standing there silently. She is desperately trying to refuse, but Wang Yui makes another preemptive move. He smugly claims her silence means yes, but then Jang steps in. He intervenes with a small flower he just picked, offering an alternative. He asks Zhou Ying to be his girlfriend instead. The crowd is shocked. Nobody expected a love triangle, but they are absolutely here for the drama. Unfortunately, Jang has zero support with just a tiny flower in his hand. He is facing a diamond necklace. Wang Yui looks down on him, laughing. He mocks him, saying you cannot bag a goddess with a piece of grass. Some onlookers actually feel bad because Jang is just so hilariously outmatched. Zhou Ying accepts Jang's simple flower. The crowd is absolutely stunned. Suddenly, everyone starts believing in true love again. Money is not everything. Jang pulls her clothes, but a desperate Wang Yui tries one last time. He begs Zhou Ying to reconsider, but Jang tells him to pack his bags. You cannot compete with the main character, just accept the rejection. But Wang Yui snaps back, claiming a broke guy can never buy her happiness. He boasts that only his wealth can bring back the luxury she deserves. Jang turns to Zhou Ying and asks if she actually likes those expensive cars. She honestly confesses that she does, but it depends on who is giving. Jang smirks and asks if she would want them if he bought them. Zhou Ying blushes and replies that she would obviously love them. That should have ended it, but Wang Yui tries to buy Jang off. He offers $100,000, showing off his luxury car to intimidate him. Suddenly, a shopkeeper runs up to Jang holding a designer shopping bag. She tells him he left his purchase, so Jang asks her to load it. As he points to his own ride, everyone nearby completely loses their minds. It turns out Jang is infinitely richer than the arrogant kid who got rejected. The crowd immediately stops believing in true love. Guess cash is king after all. Jang mocks Wang Yui, casually asking him what he thinks of his car. Wang Yui realizes he should have walked away before becoming a complete joke. Jang and Zhou Ying head off, leaving him behind to enjoy a quiet cafe. Over coffee, she reveals that Wang Yui is just a family friend she knows. She only sees him as a brother and sincerely thanks Jang for the rescue. She is so glad he is still the same playful guy from high school. Jang is thrilled to find out his goddess actually noticed him back then. She explains that her strict family kept her from making friends at school. She was always secretly jealous of how Jang got to goof around with friends. Jang tells her that a girl with curves like hers could never go unnoticed. In fact, she had the strongest presence of all the students, though Zhao Ying doubts it. She argues that if it were true, people would have approached her, but Jang disagrees. Her queenly aura made everyone feel like they were completely unworthy of speaking to her. When Mashi asks why Jang did not approach her, he claims he was too focused on studying. But his past relationship with Xiao Jai definitely says otherwise. Jang quickly drops the subject, claiming they only talked briefly before starting their relationship. though in reality they were far from a real couple. Zhao Ying's friendliness level is at 78 as she admits she would love to hang out. She wishes she could go back in time to join his group, leaving Jang to wonder. He wonders why her friendliness bar is rising so much slower compared to the others. Maybe it is because she grew up wealthy, making expensive gifts nothing special to her. She is definitely harder to win over, but suddenly the system flashes with a new quest. It suggests he keep buying her gifts, promising 5 shopping rebate cards as a reward. So Jang pulls her into a jewelry store, claiming he needs a gift for his mother. But Zhao Ying is so distracted by them holding hands that she barely notices where they are. She has no idea that Jang brought her here to buy a gift for her, not his mother. He points to the most expensive necklace in the shop and asks if she likes it. Once she catches on, she tries to refuse, but Jang reminds her of her own words. She did say earlier that she would appreciate absolutely anything he gave her. Still, she feels their relationship is not yet ready for such lavish presents. But Jang tells her to treat it as a casual gift between classmates. And honestly, once the sparkling necklace is around Zhao Ying's neck, it looks stunning. Zhao Ying looks stunning with the necklace on. Jang decides to buy a few more items. The final bill hits 1 million. Watching this, the shopkeeper feels a sudden surge of jealousy. He wonders why a girl with this much cash thrown at her is trying to refuse. Clearly, she is no gold digger. Instantly, the system rewards Jang with 50 million in cashback. With shopping over, Jang walks his date back to her apartment building. It is a modest, middle-class building, nothing fancy but not completely run down either. Every other property her father owned was mortgaged, leaving them with only this home. Everything else went to pay off loan sharks. Jang leaves and Zhao Ying heads inside. Seeing the heap of luxury gifts, her mother assumes she accepted Wang Yui's proposal. However, Zhao Ying quickly clarifies that she only sees Wang Yui as a brother. Her mom sighs, hoping Wang Yui would be the one to clear their mounting debts. Crushing debt left behind by her late father still hangs heavily over their heads. The mother isn't particularly fond of Wang Yui either, but she hates seeing her daughter struggle. She dreads seeing her daughter face financial ruin, so Zhao Ying tries to offer comfort. Zhao Ying promises her that she will keep working part-time jobs until the debts are paid. Yet they both know simple part-time gigs will never bring in millions. Deep down, she thinks Zhao Ying should really give Wang Yui a chance. Maybe he could become worthy of her, but Zhao Ying refuses and tries to escape. Her mother grabs her hand, pointing directly at the stunning new necklace. She asks if this classmate is the real reason she rejected Wang Yui. Zhao Ying insists she and Jang are just classmates, but her mother is not buying it. No classmate buys gifts this expensive for no reason, but Zhao Ying insists that Jang is just too rich, making these expensive things practically worthless to him. Finally, a character with actual brains, a hard-earned gift means way more. It completely beats getting $1 billion per spank directly from the author. Her mother wonders if Joy Ying prefers Jang over Wang Yuan just for cash. But Joy Ying fires back, even if she dated Jang, it wouldn't be for money. Her mom warns her not to take wealth so lightly. A rich guy provides luxury. He can buy expensive dinners, while a poor guy can only fill her up. Joy Ying completely shuts down, refusing to continue this ridiculous conversation before walking away. The next day, Jang receives an unexpected call from Annie, the girl from Thailand. He immediately sighs and asks if she has gone and run away from home. But no, Annie is calling to invite him to celebrate her birthday tomorrow. If one wingman was not enough, a brand new helper has arrived. The system suddenly drops 2 choices on him. Agreeing to play with Annie unlocks a skill. He will get affectionate eyes, a power that makes women think he sees their soul, even if he is actually just staring directly at their chest. An absolute no-brainer, Jang accepts instantly, meeting up with Annie and her mother. The little girl immediately begs him for a gift, earning a quick scolding from Anshin. She tells her daughter that Jang spending his precious time with them is more than enough. Anshin quickly apologizes, but this tiny girl operates on a completely different level. She confidently replies that she only wants a gift because she really likes him. She proudly claims she likes him just as much as her own mother does. Absolute pro assist right there. Anshin desperately tries to play it cool. But Annie instantly exposes her, revealing that Mama constantly talks to Grandpa about Jang. Anshin desperately explains she was only reporting the Thailand incident, begging him not to misunderstand. Jang tells her not to sweat it, and they head inside the shopping mall. Passersby cannot help but admire this incredibly cute family walking together. To everyone else, Jang looks exactly like a proud father and loving husband. This exact fantasy is running wild in Anshin's mind, and she is low-key loving it. Meanwhile, we all know exactly what Jang is imagining, things much less innocent. After grabbing a gift, a completely exhausted Annie falls fast asleep in his arms. With their little date wrapping up, they slowly make their way back to the parking lot. Suddenly, Jang's father spots his son walking alongside a gorgeous woman and a child. Absolute shock, he never expected to become a grandfather this early. He always taught his son to put up a goalkeeper before taking the shot. Now this wild old man stands frozen in the street, imagining the worst scenarios. Dad seriously needs to stop overthinking everything, then his thoughts suddenly shift. He starts wondering if his innocent son was actually the victim of some gorgeous predator. The kid looks to be at least 2 years old, which timeline-wise makes no sense. Still, looking closely at the gorgeous woman, most guys would willingly be her prey. But looking at her, anyone would probably love to get targeted by her. Before his thoughts spiral further, a business associate spots him and calls him over. Hearing his dad's name being shouted out, Jang quickly turns around and spots him. His father explains he is here for a business meeting with some important clients. Jang replies he is just entertaining little Annie, and hopefully her mom later on. He didn't say that out loud, of course, as Anshin politely greets her future father-in-law. She mentions hearing so much about him and promises to visit with Annie soon. Hearing this news, Papa Jang gets even more anxious about everything. Annie is not his granddaughter yet, but she definitely will be soon. If he does not save Jenning right now, just then that guy approaches. He surprisingly asks if Papa Jang knows CEO Anshin, leaving him stunned. With that connection, he guarantees Papa Jang will get the massive project. Papa Jang is stunned. He realizes there is more to her than looks. An hour later, Jenning walks through the door to find his dad staring. His mother immediately asks if she should set him up with someone. Jenning just sighs and tells her nobody goes on blind dates anymore. She immediately drops the games and pivots directly to the real question. Is he seeing someone? Jenning mutters that things are pretty complicated. He would rather not discuss it, but his dad speaks up instantly. Papa Jang calls him out, having seen those curvy complications earlier today. Jenning calmly asks if her having a child is a problem. His dad warns him that while being open-minded is fine, mistakes happen. He does not want his son to walk down a path of regret. Right now, Jenning might only be thinking about satisfying his short-term desires. But what happens afterward? Plus, she seems to have massive wealth. He makes sure his son is not looking for some wealthy sugar mommy. Jenning laughs it off. He tells his dad his aging brain is overworking. To clear the air, Jenning explains everything about his Thailand trip. His parents finally understand and apologize for ganging up on him. Jenning heads to his room and checks his phone. Chaos is brewing. Everyone online is talking about the controversy between Lin Ru and Suan. Lin Ru allegedly pushed Suan, abusing her seniority during a slap scene. She forced endless takes until poor Suan's face was completely bruised and swollen. Yet because Lin Ru has more fans, people praise her dedication. They claim Suan needs to toughen up to survive the industry. Jenning sees right through it. Lin Ru's team hired online trolls. They are using cropped photos to frame Suan as the villain. Honestly, trying to destroy her reputation like this is totally crossing the line. Furious, Jenning calls his security chief and orders him to crush her. No matter what dirty tricks they need to use, soon he meets up with Suan. He takes her out to a cozy hot pot restaurant to clear her mind. Suan looks down, apologizing for being too weak to fight back. Seeing her shaken, Jenning tells her that hitting back is always justified. Suan already knows that Jenning is secretly helping her from the shadows. Even Zio is mobilized, leading an online army to defend her. He asks why she still takes tiny roles under his agency. It turns out this drama was almost finished, so she wanted to wrap it up. She wanted to fulfill her contract. Suddenly, Jenning's phone starts ringing. His security team calls. They have got hard evidence of the bullying. They have already launched a massive campaign to ruin Lin Ru. Jenning coldly tells them to finish the job and bury her career. He offers a massive bounty for any new dirt on Lin Ru, then grabs the bottle. Right from Suan telling her to stop drinking, but she insists she needs to drown her sorrows. 2 hours later, Jang is carrying the totally wasted diva into hotel room. He tucks her in and turns to leave, but Suan, completely vulnerable, pulls him close, begging him to stay. She's practically burying him in her embrace. And honestly, Jang isn't exactly complaining. In fact, he is totally on board. He has been secretly waiting for this moment since the very first day. But making a move now feels too much like taking advantage of her state. He wants to build a real foundation first, so he gently pushes her back and tries to leave, but her touch keeps waking up his sleeping giant. Jang takes one look at her face and completely folds. Talk about an absolute collapse. He is normally a man of pure discipline, but right now all that focus is redirected toward conquering this very bed. Future consequences can wait. Jang leans down to kiss her, and the intense one-on-one battle begins. He goes all out, holding nothing back as his hands and lips find their target. But just as things heat up, Suan stops him. She is tipsy, sure, but not drunk enough to let things go too far. Jang freezes, immediately snapping back to his senses and quickly pretends to have passed out drunk himself. Suan pushes him away, fully aware she was the one who initiated things. If she yields now, she will never live it down. Jang suggests they just sleep it off. Suan agrees, quickly hiding in the bathroom to catch her breath. Her heart is racing. She has never been this physically close to any man before. For tonight, the epic showdown is postponed and a quiet truce is declared. The next morning over breakfast, Suan scrolls through her phone and gasps. Brutal rumors and solid dirt on Lin Ru are trending all over the internet. She looks up and asks if he did this. Jang calmly admits it, explaining that his agency will always protect her. Suan is absolutely thrilled. Not only is Jang offering her an incredible new contract, but he is covering her massive exit fees while shielding her from a giant rival company. She promises herself she will work hard to deserve all his generous support. Meanwhile, Jang is already planning his next move to fully break his target. Suan is quietly amazed by his endless wealth, throwing money around just to ruin someone. Jang notices her blushing and asks why she is turning so red. He teases that he would love to ruin her too, but in bed. She cannot believe how naturally this guy sneaks in these shameless, flirty remarks. Meanwhile, over at Shanghai King Entertainment, a tense meeting is taking place. CEO Song is sitting down with Lin Ru and her stressed-out talent agent. Lin Ru's online follower count is tanking, and her defenders have completely vanished. Both the agent and Lin Ru insist they kept quiet after the controversy. They claim some rival must be dragging her name through the dirt. Song wonders if Suan is behind this, but Lin Ru scoffs at that. She claims a nobody-supporting actress could never pull off something this massive. Besides, bad publicity is still press, so they should focus on their drama. CEO Song has already spent a small fortune to bury the worst headlines. But his budget is completely drained, and he cannot keep throwing money away. He decides to let the smaller rumors keep trending. Right then, an employee bursts into the meeting room to deliver some major news to the boss. He reveals that Star Entertainment offered a massive $20 million reward for any dirt on Lin Ru. That incredible bounty completely shocks CEO Song. He demands to know if Lin Ru did something totally wild to offend their rival leader. Lin Ru silently reviews the incredibly long list of men she has casually slept with. But she cannot recall ever hooking up with the head of Star Entertainment. The employee steps in with more crucial details to explain. He explains that this is likely about Suan since she recently broke her contract to sign with them and secure several major lead roles. Lin Ru immediately turns on the waterworks to play the innocent victim here. She claims she had no idea about the corporate transfer and wanted petty payback. The actress just wanted to humiliate her rival and never expected this absolute disaster. But CEO Song is trapped. He cannot let his top star fail now. Losing her before the contract expires would cost him hundreds of millions. To salvage this, he decides to match them with a $25 million hush money offer to protect her. He warns Lin Ru that he is absolutely furious that her stupidity just cost them $25 million with no second chances. She bows deeply to thank him, revealing the visual of her notorious backdoor access. Soon after, Lolo calls Jang Chang to tip him off about the 25 $1 million defense fund TM Wang Entertainment put up for Lin Ru. Honestly, having such a gorgeous informant almost makes this massive mess feel pleasant. Right then, the system issues Jang Chang a mission to crush Tian Chang Entertainment. With all his funding fully backed, Jang Chang orders Zio to raise the bounty to 100 million. If they counter, we will just double it. Zio is completely frozen in absolute disbelief over his sheer recklessness. Even Suen, eating breakfast right beside him, is totally speechless. The blonde beauty quickly points out that their new company needs cash. Throwing funds around like this seems incredibly risky for a startup. But Jiang Cheng explains that this move sends a powerful message to everyone. It proves their brand new agency is not to be messed with. $100 million move serves as the ultimate industry stepping stone. It grabs attention and forces major players to respect their power. He wants everyone in showbiz to remember the name of their brand. Xingchen Nassel Entertainment and its powerhouse leader Jiang Cheng. It makes perfect sense now, so Zio gets to work immediately, feeling quite jealous. He is dropping 100 million on Suen. Girl, you got a Lamborghini. Delivered recently, later that afternoon, the $100 million bounty completely went viral. Even Kinfin sees the massive news and wonders about this mystery tycoon. He reads that the leading director is a young face named Jang Chang. The red-haired companion instantly remembers him and reminds Kinfin about their previous meeting. They crossed paths at the auction and again at the showroom. Since Kinfin had to travel abroad, they lost touch, but Jiang Cheng is definitely the kind of person to throw around money without care. He already knows how Jiang Cheng crushed the Wang clan and targeted Lin Ru. He is incredibly rich but utterly ruthless too, definitely someone they want to stay friendly with. Shinfin asks if one of the girls Lin Ru bullied is his girlfriend, but Red Hair says no. In fact, they are not. This whole situation has seriously piqued Pei Shinfin's interest in Jang Chen. He invites him out to hang. Meanwhile, Chang Entertainment holds a late-night board meeting. They have gathered all the worried shareholders and directors, even a hefty sum like 25 million won is too tough to cover, and now the angry shareholders are pushing back. They refuse to throw away that much cash just to rescue some rookie girl. The backup plan: make Lin Ru pay off her massive breach of contract fee through sponsorships and cheap commercials. If that still does not clear her debt, they will ship her to Japan to shoot mature live-action films. Lin Ru breaks down sobbing and protests, screaming that she definitely does not want to become that kind of actress. She promises to kneel and beg the boss of Xingchen for complete forgiveness. She will bend any way he wants. However, Boss Song knows that someone dropping 100 million won is not going to let her go so easily. Still, they would prefer to negotiate directly with Jang Chen. The next day, the Jang family is happily celebrating Papa Jang landing a massive amusement park contract. It was thanks to Anshin, but now they are basically overnight millionaires. Just then, the car sales rep arrives and immediately bows to Jang Chen. This bugs his dad, the supposed future millionaire. Jang Chen quickly clears up the misunderstanding, since he will be away at college for Papa Jang's upcoming birthday. He wanted to present his surprise gift early. Right on cue, the delivery team reveals a stunning sports sedan. His father is absolutely thrilled, looking incredibly proud. Jang Chen originally wanted to buy something insanely flashy, but he settled on this model because it felt much more practical. Of course, he cannot mention that his son actually drives a Porsche 918, especially since they only know about his single investment. That reminds him that he needs to ship his luxury cars to Aminyang Yun before the university semester kicks off. The gorgeous sales girl then snaps quick family photo and hands over the keys. Soon after, Jang Chen receives a sudden text from Zhao Ying saying she is flying back to Shanghai tomorrow for an urgent job. She wanted to stay a little longer, but that dinner she promised him have to wait until he gets to the city himself. He immediately tells his parents that he is leaving tomorrow too. Usually, traditional parents would protest, but not when their son just handed them a luxury ride. Papa Jang wants him to stay a bit longer, but the real boss of the house, Mama Jang, grants permission, leaving his dad completely powerless. He surrendered to his wife's authority years ago. And though he might complain, the man is genuinely happy. He does not want any saving. The following morning, right at the airport security checkpoint, the lovely Zhao Ying is shocked to find Jang Chen right behind her. He explains that they are traveling together. Her friendship score is currently at 88, so he is just 2 tiny points away from winning her heart. She asks if this is another vacation, but Jang Chen insists it is strictly for business. His real goal, however, is far more personal. He wonders if she is ready for his advances just yet. Jang Chen keeps up the playful flirting until takeoff when he notices her white-knuckling the armrests. It turns out she still gets incredibly anxious during takeoff. Honestly, that is just the perfect excuse for him. Jen grabs Jang Yu tightly. The way she looks at him and thanks him for the help makes Jen lose all control. Can you blame him? He gives Jang Yu a surprise kiss, feeling absolutely stunned when she actually leans in and returns the kiss right back. That intense kiss completely weakens her knees, but hold on because Jang Yu pushes him back, having literally drained every single flirty line he was preparing to drop. She reminds him they are in public, but Jen playfully responds that it was just a tiny show of affection. She is too flushed to even speak right now, so she rests on his shoulder. 2 hours later, they arrive at Shanghai airport, where Jen invites her into his car to drop her off, but Jang Yu declines, pointing out the detour would delay his meeting at a Menyoung by an hour. Besides, she feels they simply are not quite at that stage of their relationship yet. She leaves in a taxi, making Jen realize he must slow down. With her back at the hotel, Jen senses that Yui is acting rather distant, even though they were only apart for a few days. Turns out she received 100,000. Before he left, Yui did try calling him several times over the last couple of days, but got absolutely nothing in return. That silence made her incredibly nervous. Fearing this playboy had abandoned her, she knows exactly what kind of man he is. Better than anyone, yet she cannot help being drawn to him. Moving in, Jen asks her to scrub his back as he settles into the bath. Yui decides she wants a completely vulnerable, all-out battle tonight, so she sheds all her clothes and dives right in. Later, Yui steps out of the tub with very shaky legs. This clash has completely drained her, leaving her unable to even walk without holding onto the wall for support. Unfortunately, her playful opponent is not done yet. Seeing that Yui is still breathing, the sneaky opponent creeps up and yanks the only item left in her possession, her towel. He drags her to a private corner, ideal for a private one-on-one, and restarts the action immediately. Yui fights him the entire night. The next day, she wakes up at 1 p.m. and panics, realizing she is incredibly late for work. The other staff will surely gossip about her. Jen gently reminds her she was only prioritizing the company policy to satisfy the client. He also thinks it is far too early to stop fighting. He pulls her back onto the mattress, initiating another fierce round before they head out. Yui asks if he wants her to be his girlfriend since he won't let her leave his side. Honestly, what a total scumbag. Jen tells her she can be his girlfriend if she desires, or she can leave if she wants. He has already stated his terms to her. Yui knows he is only interested in sparring with her every now and then, yet she silently wishes he would carve out a space for her. She knows she is just one of his many sparring partners. Surprisingly, Jen tells her she already has a place, otherwise he wouldn't even be holding her right now. Yui feels a rush of relief and immediately asks for a small favor. Deeply in love, she hates the thought of him being with other sparring partners. She begs him not to bring her around when he is with someone else. Jen quickly agrees, turning his focus to the current battle at hand. Before them, suddenly he gets a phone call stating that his car has arrived and they need him to sign some documents to unload it. Jen heads downstairs and signs the paperwork. A sleek Porsche 918 being unloaded quickly draws a crowd as everyone scrambles to snap pictures when the hotel CEO suddenly drives up. He immediately spots the blocked entrance. The staff member insists it will only take a minute. But Minjiang is furious. That entrance should never have been blocked in the first place. He steps out of his car to find out who is causing all this commotion. The staff member is clueless, since he was ordered to prioritize Jang's absolute convenience. He tries to ask Jang to hurry, but before he can, Minjiang suddenly realizes that Jang's luxury car is the one blocking the entire path. He stops the worker immediately, pretending nothing is wrong. He just wants to ask Jang if everything is up to his high expectations. Jang says it is perfect. But he needs a favor. He is looking for a rare Madu license plate. Minjiang actually remembers a wealthy client who bought one. It was sold at an auction right here, so he promises to contact Jang. An hour later, Jang gets the call saying the meeting is officially set. Jang arrives at the private room, only to see a stunning new goddess appear. Her name is Chenyor, she is 26 and an absolute jackpot for him. Mainly because her privacy count is at 0, but then he notices something weird. There is a massive mystery here. Why does this complete stranger have such high loyalty? Her loyalty is at 120, with 0 romantic feelings involved. Before Minjiang can even introduce them, Chenyor approaches Jang directly. She asks what brings him here. It turns out she is his system-assigned manager. She runs his Star River investment company, courtesy of the system itself. And Chenyor is slightly pouty that her handsome boss completely forgot about her. But Jang claims she runs the place so well he never needs to interfere. He shows his gratitude by gently patting her cheek, a move that stuns the room. Minjiang instantly freezes, thinking he just witnessed something he definitely should not have. After all, Chenyor is a famous ice queen who graduated at the very top. She began her investment career at 19 as a legendary financial prodigy. Dozens of elite corporations tried to hire her, but they all failed miserably. Until Star River secured her, Minjiang is completely blown away by this. He cannot believe a brilliant beauty like Chenyor gets ignored by her own boss. As the three sit for lunch, Chenyor thanks Minjiang for setting this up. Minjiang was already intrigued by Jang, but this takes things to another level. This man owns a rising financial empire and has a legendary genius on board. He is bound to become an absolute legend. Chenyor then asks Jang a question. She wants to know if he reviewed her latest high-stakes investment report. Jang admits he glanced at it, highly impressed she made over 20 million. All that profit in just a single week. Still, Chenyor wondered about his silence. But now she realizes her boss simply does not care about daily operations. He basically leaves everything in her capable hands. She then brings up the plate. She asks if he wants that unique $5 million license plate. Since they are partners, Minjiang realizes he can step back entirely. Chenyor had no interest in selling it to anyone else at first. But since her beloved boss wants it, she will gladly hand it over. Jang thanks her, telling her to deduct the cost from their corporate account. He promises to drop by the office soon, trusting her to keep succeeding. He gently caresses her thigh, showing his absolute trust in her in the purest way possible. His phone rings, Chinfin calls, the guys want him to join them. They are visiting an exclusive private collection and want Jen to come along. Jen agrees. He drives over to meet them, sporting his shiny new license plate. Coincidentally, Jeneng has a similar plate, and everyone knows those are ridiculously pricey. Jeneng proudly brags that a stunning angel gifted it to him entirely for free. She flat out refused his money. Right then, Wang Jiang looks at Jen. He finally realizes Jen is telling the truth. The collection belongs to a woman. Wang Jiang jokingly wonders if Jen's famous charm is going to work on her too. She is young but already has a kid. Instantly, the boys hatch an idea. They challenge Jeneng to try and win the heart of this wealthy sugar mommy. True to his shameless nature, he gladly agrees as long as the prize is sweet. They enter the massive estate with their usual bet. The lowest spender pays tonight. Wang Jiang mentions that this place belongs to one of the biggest watch collectors around. They are escorted to the reception room, time to browse the exclusive slideshow. A screen displays a massive catalog of incredibly high-end, rare luxury timepieces. Jeneng immediately eyes a gorgeous watch. It is worth 1.5 million. Meanwhile, Chinfin sets his sights on an absolute beast worth $8 million. They keep browsing while having the most incredibly basic, corny conversation ever. Seriously, what kind of lonely person actually thinks guys only talk about girls? A typical bro conversation is honestly either the absolute wildest thing imaginable. Sometimes they just go on some bizarre historical rant that makes no sense. Or the jokes get so incredibly dark that a cop would arrest them instantly. Jeneng suddenly locks his eyes on a masterpiece, a 3-minute repeater watch. Sadly, the butler politely explains that this rare piece is not currently for sale. Jeneng is clearly disappointed, but Jen quickly tells him not to sweat it. They can grab it on their next visit. Right then, the owner finally enters. She apologizes for keeping them waiting, explaining she got caught in terrible traffic. It turns out the wealthy woman running this entire museum is actually Anshin. She is shocked to see Jen here. She immediately runs over to greet him. Anshin asks what brought him to Shanghai since they just hung out in Chengdu. She mentions that little Annie keeps constantly asking when she can see him again. Jen would have been personally invited over if only she knew he was here. The rest of the guys are absolutely stunned. Jen has some insane connections. Anshin points at the watch Jennings wanted, asking if Jen likes it as well. Jennings speaks up saying he loves it, but since it is unavailable, he will browse others. Anshin smiles and clarifies that she did not ask if they wanted to buy it. She only asked if he liked it. She immediately commands her butler to pack it up. Wrapping the watch up for Jen, she leaves the guys absolutely flabbergasted. They are looking at a $10 million watch, just casually handed over as a gift. Wang Jiang feels incredibly embarrassed because they usually have to jump through major hoops just to buy anything, but for Jen, she is literally handing over a priceless model. Completely free of charge, she openly admits that if Jen asks, he gets it. She will give him whatever he desires. Honestly, she would gladly give him her entire world. If he only asks, Jen tells Anshin that he can only accept the gift on. She lets him pay the full market value. Anshin just wants him to drop these stiff formalities. She feels their bond is much closer than this, but she knows better. Forcing her wishes on him will not do any good, so she suggests something else. She suggests showing her private collection, the kind she never lets any outsiders see. The other guys also want to see it, so they eagerly ask if they can join in. Anshin welcomes them without taking any offense. It shows how highly she regards Jen. They are led to a room that looks exactly like a high-security bank vault. A whole team of elite bodyguards follows right behind them as standard procedure. They finally enter the room where every single watch is a rare, one-of-one limited edition. It is honestly terrifying just seeing all these ultra-rare pieces gathered in one single room. She even has the classic James Bond Rolex and the one Arnold wore in Terminator 3. Anshin asks Jen if he likes any of these, and honestly, he is absolutely loving them. Truth be told, he loves every single watch here, but he refuses to take her treasures. Because of that, he firmly sticks to his original choice, with so many people around. Anshin cannot easily pressure him into accepting such a valuable gift, so she backs off. She decides to yield today and wait for his birthday or some other major occasion. Half an hour later, the boys head back to the lounge and start asking questions. They want to know all about his connection to Anshin while she is temporarily away. Jen casually reveals that this is only his third time actually meeting the woman. This blows their minds since she is acting incredibly fond of him for just 3 visits. Chinfin chimes in, joking that her daughter Annie must have a massive crush on him. That clever joke definitely earns him some serious respect among his friends. Meanwhile, Anshin returns to the room with the watch Jen liked, costing 18 million back in 2016. Today, its value has shot up to 30 million, since Jen insists on paying full price. And she absolutely refuses to take the entire sum. She offers to meet him halfway at 24 million, and Jen gently asks her to place it on his wrist. He compliments her for a perfect fit, exactly how he likes it, not too tight and not too loose, leaving the other guys feeling like absolute third wheels. It honestly feels like these two would spark a fierce romantic battle right then and there. If the friends were not standing in the room, Jen quickly transfers the money. Afterward, the group finally takes their leave, since Jen spent the most cash today. He must pay for dinner, even though Chinfin usually covers the bill. Jen lets them choose the restaurant while he quietly checks the 4 rebate cards. Resting in his system inventory, Chinfin eagerly suggests visiting a brand new place. It is a freshly opened bathhouse owned by a close friend of his. Suddenly, everyone feels like relaxing with a hot bath and a deeply soothing massage. They arrive at the venue, and the owner brings out their absolute best staff. To celebrate Jen's first time out with them, Chinfin lets him pick first. Every single lady is a perfect 10, holding an incredibly clean private record. However, Jen spots that a girl named Xiang Meng has a flawless 0 rating. He naturally chooses her, while the other guys pick their own ladies and order food. They want to fill up their health bars before entering the real action. Everyone happily feasts on the main dishes, while their lovely companions sit beside them. Because of her innocent background, Xiang Meng acts much more reserved than the others. Right then, Jen's phone rings. It is Yui calling to see if he is back. He is a bit busy tonight but promises to play tennis with her tomorrow. His friend asks if that was his girlfriend, but before Jen can reply, he receives another phone call from Shu. She asks why his line was busy, so Jen immediately explains that it was a business call. She then asks when he has time for their usual workout session, so Jen tells her to warm up and be ready tomorrow morning. By now, the guys are literally betting on how many more matches he will cram into his schedule. James then switches the phone to silent so nothing interrupts their night out. His friends are actually already looking up to him, thinking he is the ultimate player, a man that no one can compare to, a guy who sets the standard. Chinfin tells Jen to take things a bit easier. He is only 18 and playing 3 matches in under 24 hours can cause a serious injury. He does not want Jen to end his career so soon. Chinfin is actually the best person to give this advice. Why? Because he is a veteran player. He is the most consistent player in the game. After reaching the peak of their silly conversation, Chinfin shifts the topic to Lin Ru. Wondering how she managed to cheat on him, Jen has no idea what he means. Since he has never even met Lin Ru, the thought of him spending 100 million to ruin a stranger for a girl who is not even his girlfriend is diabolical. 20 minutes later, Xia Meng and Jen enter the shower cabin so Jen can finally enjoy his dessert. Xia Meng is incredibly nervous, having only watched romance movies. To understand these things, she reveals that her sole reason for coming here is to work hard and make money to cover the medical expenses of her grandmother. Jen immediately shuts her up with a kiss and makes her work hard for that money. The next morning, Xia Meng wakes up and finds Jen already gone. He did leave a note explaining that the card beside her holds $100,000 to cover the medical expenses. He could have just given her the money directly. But he is not that saintly, and this is definitely not that kind of story. At least she will never have to work here again. Meanwhile, Jen is at the office to meet with Zio Zio. In the lobby, he runs into Suan, who waits to greet him until they are both inside the elevator. She is careful to avoid any rumors so she does not bother Jen with problems like Lin Ru. Again, Jen is glad to see that Suan is popular enough to attract paparazzi. Wherever she goes, she credits all of this instant fame to Jen and his company. She is happy to run into him today, but Jen smoothly tells her to contact him whenever she misses him. Soon they arrive upstairs, where Zio Zio brings Jen into her private office so they can work out. Meanwhile, the other employees are wondering if manager Zio Zio has hired this incredibly handsome new model. The girls do not realize he is actually their boss. And knowing his nature, they will definitely get to know him very intimately soon. Jen is pleased to see how Zio Zio decorated her office. She then offers him tea, which is not some magical potion but still tastes pretty good. Jen thinks that young people like Zio Zio should be drinking milk tea instead, since they do not have any milk on hand. He grabs her from behind to happily provide it. After half an hour, Suan walks inside and finds Zio Zio looking completely exhausted after their intense session. Suan silently wonders why her lipstick is totally smudged. She mentions that Jane warned her about that lipstick brand, which made her wipe it off instantly. Suan cleans Yao's lips, mentioning that something white is still on her face. Completely clueless it's just leftover protein shake from her recent workout session. Suan finds the taste of this shake pretty weird, but shrugs it off anyway. Seriously though, someone needs to calm down here. Anyway, Suan heads into Jane's office to look around. She is quite impressed with the fancy decor, noting how well rich people live. Jane playfully asks if she wants to experience that rich lifestyle with him, but she insists on thanking him by giving him a soothing massage instead. She recently picked up some techniques to prep for a maid role. Jane obviously agrees, loving how bold Suan is getting with him. Turns out she is incredibly good at this, quickly putting our exhausted soldier to sleep. Right then, the very woman who drained his stamina walks in. Zio Zio tells Suan to wake him because they have tons of business matters to handle. Seeing her acting so professional, Suan feels guilty for ever doubting her and Jane. 2 hours pass and they finally wrap up all the boring paperwork. Seeing how exhausted Jane is, Zio Zio asks if his other workout partners are draining him dry. Curious about exactly how many side partners he has, Jane admits that he regularly meets up with two other ladies, even sharing their names. Jojo asks if Yuyin and Yin are prettier than her, but Jane quickly reminds her that even after 100 wild encounters, she will always be his number one. She is forever his special favorite. She playfully questions if Jane can handle all three of them at once. Since she doubts his energy, Jane decides to prove himself with action, diving into back-to-back cardio sets without taking any break for 4 whole hours. He definitely needs a recharge before meeting anyone else, so he pulls over at a barbecue spot to ask if parking is allowed. A rather stiff-looking uncle nods yes and takes his massive order. Judging by the sheer volume, these two older guys know he is living a wild lifestyle. They proudly claim that in their youth, they needed heavy rations to keep going. Suddenly, Jane's luxury car gets hit. The old man instantly apologizes for the parking. But Jane tells him to focus on the food. Grilled kidneys over a Porsche 918 is an easy choice. Since his stamina is already completely empty, he needs food. The old man soon returns with another quiet guy, pointing at Jane and identifying him as the car owner. Turns out this is the driver who hit Jane's sports car and he wants to apologize. Jane tells him not to worry, since nobody was hurt, which is the only thing that really matters. The guy makes a quick phone call, stunned at how incredibly rich someone must be to stay this calm about Thorfinn, but Jane here clearly has no enemies in his heart. Perhaps his true peace is found with beautiful women instead. Suddenly, Chin's brother arrives on the scene. Honestly, his name is so unique you will never guess it. Get ready for this one. Are you actually prepared to hear what he is called? Without keeping you waiting, we are happy to announce that his name is simply Wang. This Wang King is the son of the wealthiest tycoon around, and even Jane knows him because of his massive fame. Shinfen avoided calling the insurance company to keep his sister clueless, otherwise he would lose his driving privileges forever. He then Kaming introduces Jane to Wang Konging, apologizing for hitting him earlier. It is pretty funny seeing the supercar killer happily eating skewers like nothing happened. They deeply thank Jane for not making a massive scene over the whole crazy accident. To show their appreciation, they invite him to the Monster Bar to properly apologize. Since they are in a huge rush, they say goodbye, asking Jane if he needs a ride. He declines because his personal driver is already on the way. Soon, Yuyin arrives. After enjoying a delicious barbecue feast, Jane is ready for a completely different dessert. He grabs Yuyin, teasingly asking if she will be his sweet treat tonight. She smells absolutely incredible, and Jane seems to love her perfume a bit too much. He is practically trying to inhale every single sweet atom from her warm skin. Those two guys are highly impressed seeing Jane jump straight into another intense battle. Especially since he just recharged, but this public restaurant is not the place for intimacy. So he quickly moves their private cooking session straight into the backseat of his car. We have to feel bad for the driver, who will definitely need those tissues later. The next day, Yuyin is sweetly feeding him just like a loving wife would do. Suddenly, Jane gets a text from Joy Ying asking him out for some lunch. Naturally, he agrees and immediately heads out to pick up his beautiful date. But first, he steals a quick kiss from Yuyin before meeting his gorgeous date. Joy Ying is absolute eye candy. Jane wants to buy her an expensive luxury handbag. She quickly declines, not wanting him to waste his hard-earned cash on pricey gifts. But Jane insists that couples share gifts, telling her not to act so distant. He tells the shopkeeper to bring out the most premium outfits for Joy Ying. Since her current clothes barely cover her assets, he really wants to spend some cash. His cashback card requires spending 500,000, but her refusals stop him. Failing to reach that limit, they head upstairs to the hot pot restaurant instead. On the fourth floor, Jane suddenly spots a very familiar face eating alone. Well, she is not completely alone since her online stream viewers are watching. They are all enjoying the high-definition stream. Jane decides to walk right over. He approaches Yui, casually asking what she is up to right now. Seeing her charming prince arrive, Yui immediately cuts the live stream short. She eyes his companion and asks Jane if this lovely lady is his girlfriend. When he nods, Yui introduces herself simply as a close, casual friend, though she is actually a very intimate friend who shared his bed. Joy Ying is not buying this casual act for a single second. The look in Yui's eyes is far too romantic for mere friends. Still, she gives them the benefit of the doubt and politely introduces herself. Jane is secretly loving this tense meeting between two of his future partners. Yui invites them to join her. Joy Ying wants to decline immediately. But Yui pouts, saying she has no friends here. Joy Ying looks at Jane. Jane says he does not mind, so they sit down. Yui notices his watch. Having never seen this model, Jane casually claims it is just a cheap toy. He says it cost 1,500 yuan, but it actually cost 24 million. Luckily, these ladies are far too smart to fall for such a ridiculous lie. Joy Ying feels a bit silly since she almost believed his silly story. Oddly enough, Yui starts treating Joy Ying like a doll and feeds her. Of course, Yui is not playing nice without a hidden agenda. She then asks Yo Ying how she and Jang first met, only to discover they went to the same high school. Yui cannot change their past, but she can definitely try to get even with Jang for embarrassing her. She slowly slides her foot up Jang's leg until she enters highly dangerous territory. Little does she know, Jang has been playing this exact scenario in his mind ever. Since he hit puberty, he is not losing. He grabs her foot and turns the tables completely by unleashing some relentless tickle torture. Now poor Yui is majorly regretting her little game. She tries conversing with Yo Ying while struggling desperately not to let out any dangerous soft moans, seeing her hold up surprisingly well. Jang turns up the intensity. Yui cannot help. She screams, then quickly lies, claiming a funny thought just popped into her head. But Jane is not backing down, relentlessly tickling her bare foot. At this rate, Jing's eyes are completely tearing up, shooting Jane a helpless and pleading look. Practically begging for mercy, he finally decides to let her off the hook. For now at least, he heads to the bathroom. I will let you guess why. After that intense little playtime, Jane returns to find the girls huddled close. Jing has already declared Zhou Ying her absolute best friend. From now on, she will drag Zhou Ying to the coolest local hangout spots. Jane just smiles, knowing how incredibly sweet and pure-hearted Jing truly is. This is the exact same girl who literally started crying when Jane played hard to get earlier. Suddenly, his phone buzzes. It is a text from Qiyuan inviting him over to Monster Bar. Jane leaves Zhou Ying and Jing behind, heading straight out. Arriving at the bar, Jane is welcomed warmly by a group of wealthy guys surrounded by endless luxury treats. One of them complains that Kong Ming went overboard bringing this many beautiful girls. But they honestly have no clue who Jane really is. His last 48 hours held way more extreme action than almost any character in Attack on Titan. Mainly because most of those guys did not survive long enough to do anything. Chinfin immediately orders the absolute most expensive drinks. Kong Bai starts teasing Ching Yui, saying he cannot even remember the last time the guy was this generous. Jane is quite surprised to see both of them already treating him like a close friend. He is happy but not too happy. Gotta keep things strictly bro level, not as corny as those guys posting birthday countdown stories, but still pretty close. The party kicks off as the DJ amps up the crowd, and drinks flow alongside some delicious snacks served by models in bunny outfits. Jenny approaches Jang Chang to offer a toast. Since she currently works as a model, Jang Chang tells her she has incredible potential to become a top influencer in the new era of social media. He explains that things are shifting and having more followers means more success in any field, whether you are running a nice home for orphans or creating content on OnlyFans. Having more followers guarantees way more donations. Jang Chang even shares his ultimate secret to blowing up online in his country. Just say that you love China, and the local algorithm will push you hard. It is like anime fans swearing a show gets amazing after 900 episodes. The girl did not expect such serious advice, but she wants to know why Jang Chang is so optimistic, though he admits he has no idea. He does not care about the industry itself, but the entire influencer economy. Neither creators nor brands are taking home the real cash. They miss out. It is the platform owners. He has zero interest in a simple talent agency. Kungming is deeply impressed, seeing how Jiang Chen completely looks down on tens of millions, aiming for hundreds of millions instead. Kungming is the first to actually understand what Jiang Chen is planning. He wants to launch musical live first, then follow it up with TikTok, since he returned in 2023. The market value has already hit $400 billion. Absolutely insane. Golden opportunity and he refuses to miss it, but then Chi Yuan interrupts, ruining the bro bonding session, asking them to save some time for the girls. Kungming immediately gets defensive, telling Jiang Chen to keep speaking, but even Jiang Chen waves him off, raising a glass instead. 2 hours later, Chi Yuan is all ready. Clinging to a gorgeous girl ready to book a private room, Jiang Chen just looks over his options and decides to go back. Chi Yuan quickly warns him about girls setting up extortion traps, making Jiang Chen give him a sarcastic thanks. With that pointless advice, the group splits up, but Yui, the designated driver, is absolutely fuming seeing Jiang Chen with some other gorgeous chick. She immediately rushes over to claim her spot. Jenny quietly steps aside. After thanking him for his business lesson, later on Yui demands to know if he is coming over, throwing a massive tantrum about the other girl. Jiang Chen hates that needy attitude and matches it with a cold glare. This forces Yui to apologize immediately as he reminds her of their original terms. She folds completely, explaining that she just wanted some attention from him. But Jiang Chen reminds her of everything he has provided so far, offering a promise. He will never forget her as long as she remains completely obedient to him. Yui sheds some tears to gain sympathy, begging him to finish what they started. The moment Jiang Chen enters her small room, he finds it incredibly cramped. But he still throws Yui onto the bed, leaving her completely exhausted until morning. He tells her to keep resting, but she is craving some actual hot food. Yui usually survives on instant ramen, so Jiang Chen offers to treat her. Her tiny apartment does not even have a kitchen, which makes dining out a total necessity. Her monthly rent is 1,600, which is ridiculous for this small doghouse. Yui avoids the campus dorms because the other girls constantly bicker. They gossiped behind her back since she started streaming. Jiang Chen reads the room. The other girls simply hate her because she is stealing all of their spotlight. So he offers to fully cover any new apartment she actually wants to rent. She happily hugs him in gratitude. Jiang Chen even offers to buy new outfits. But she draws the line, claiming he has already given her way too much. After sharing a few more sweet promises, they finally get up to eat. The restaurant lady welcomes them politely, but she is secretly quite jealous. Jiang Chen arrives with a beautiful new girl every single day, and when paying, you have got to love how he cheapskates with a cashback card despite holding millions. As they head out, they cross paths with a child begging. Yui feels terrible, handing over every last bill she has. The crowd watches her give money to a scammer, whispering she is just trying to impress him. However, Jang Chang quickly notices that the kid is just too innocent to be some street con artist, so he hands him some cash. The kid bows deeply to express his gratitude. Just like that, Jang unlocks a brand new system skill that detects honesty and lies. The crowd looking on is completely dumbfounded. They truly believe that Jang Chang has lost his mind, even recognizing him from online videos, but the system confirms that the boy is completely genuine, so he lifts the kid up and asks how much more cash is needed. Jang honestly feels bad that real people in need are always doubted because of greedy scammers. He reassures the boy and hands over $100,000 right there. To cover the surgery costs, the child insists it is too much and even Yui is stunned. Jang explains recovery costs extra. Take it, he says. The tearful boy offers his deepest thanks, but Jang gets something even better when the system rewards him with danger perception and a stock info card. Later on, Yui sighs, saying her shopping spree was a bit too extravagant. After seeing what the poor kid was going through, Jang just laughs it off. Right then, Chiyuan calls to say his car is ready. Within 30 minutes, Jang is listening to Chiyuan babble on and on. Kong is there too, and the two friends immediately start bickering back and forth about fancy cars and luxury clothes as if they are the exact same thing. Then they wonder why everyone mistakes them for a couple. Seizing the moment, Yui clings tightly to Jang Chang, acting completely shocked by the expensive rides. Chiyuan explains they rented the entire track for test drives, plus a race later on. Jang tells her to go for it, coaxing the timid girl into agreeing. Chiyuan tells Jian to prep everything, though the worker is secretly jealous because he cannot afford these rides or have a wealthy partner buy them. Jang reminds his buddy that he is actually loaded, but Chiyuan sighs. He still relies on his father's money and got banned from buying cars. After wrecking two of them, Jang suggests he start earning his own cash, which immediately triggers the guy. Even Kong joins in, teasing that his unstable personality is terrible for stock trading. Meanwhile, Jang looks over his new stock information card, showing a massive upcoming market surge. With a smug smile, he remarks that stocks are the easiest way to get rich. The system basically tells him to cheat, and honestly, who would refuse? This is his perfect chance to show what he can do, so he leaks details on the hottest market trend. Kong thinks the tip sounds incredibly sketchy, but Chiyuan is instantly hooked. Jang explains he is just showing his appreciation. By sharing this exclusive top-tier secret, Kong finally listens closely. He keeps the juicy details to himself and tells them to trust his firm. It sounds like a total hustle, but Chiyuan is already all in. Jang promises that his returns will buy him a brand new supercar. Chiyuan asks how much they are risking, and let me tell you, he is shocked. Jang is putting up his entire fortune. Even Kong points out how crazy it is. Jang is easily the wealthiest among them now, but Jang says the choice is theirs. And their friendship remains unchanged either way. Hearing this, Kong decides to invest 100 million, bringing their total trade to 700 million. Yuang overhears them talking about millions and wonders how much cash he really has. Though it seems like gold digging, Jang Chang offers to give Chiyuan some investment funds. No way, Chiyuan refuses. He won't use his brother's money just to make more. Kongam laughs, pointing out that Chiyuan is usually never too proud to take money. But the handsome guy promises things are different now. Kongam does not care at all, demanding Jang Chang's account details instead since he is excited to start. Yuang chimes in, rambling about how exciting driving is, so he offers brand new supercar. He recently got 5 shopping cashback cards anyway and buying. The car will cost tens of millions, but Yuang declines. She wants to think. Jang Chang remembers that her modest apartment proves she is not a big spender. Forcing a supercar on her right now would only stress her out. Suddenly, the system announcer declares that the track is ready. Chiyuan asks what the prize is, but Kongam refuses to throw anything in. So Chiyuan turns to Jang Chang instead. He explains the usual rules of racing. The winner gets the pot, and the loser has to pay for a massive dinner. Jang Chang suggests turning the race into a charity event to raise some funds. Kongam loves the idea, so Chiyuan runs off to announce the plan to everyone. Though Jang Chang only came here to relax, he is suddenly feeling pretty motivated. The race kicks off. Jang Chang decides to play it cool as a beginner. So he plays it safe, and the first round is won by Han Anning, who dressed to look incredibly hot rather than to drive a supercar. She actually calls Chiyuan useless. The handsome guy demands another lap. He wants to settle the score, and she gladly accepts for an ego boost. Jang Chang watches her antics with interest. When the engines roar again, Anning gets furious when someone pulls ahead, desperately fighting to stay in front. But her opponent shows off such breathtaking skills that the entire crowd goes wild. In an instant, everyone becomes a fan, and just like that, Jang Chang takes the win. He accepts the praise from the crowd, which is nothing new. He takes off his helmet, and Anning immediately rushes over. He is impressed by how incredibly soft her hands are after such wild driving. Meanwhile, Anning is totally melting. Just having her hand touched makes her heart race. She quickly asks for his number, claiming it is just to share some driving tips. His friends are stunned to see the proud girl fold so easily for Jang Chang. Jang Chang remains totally calm, asking the system to scan Anning's true feelings. It looks like Anning wants to trade something else entirely, and Jang Chang, he instantly realizes she wants him in her fish pond. No way, he flatly refuses to exchange any items, proudly declaring that he brought his actual girlfriend along today. This completely triggers Anning. Despite both girls having pink hair, she reminds Yuang of the girls round, mocking her about whether she is even capable of working the room. Yuang is completely shocked to be targeted so openly. Just like that, we have hit the end of the currently released chapters. Sorry if we went a little too hard on the author, but his writing is so gloriously dumb that it feels like genius. He clearly knows a story needs either a solid plot or stunning characters like Xia, Sha Yinyang, Zhou Yang, and Yuan, sporting massive plots to keep the audience hooked. At the end of the day, he still won since we read to the very end.